Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what time it is. It's Friday, baby. Come on. Let's groove tonight. Let's groove tonight before we get this show started. This is Barbershop Talk. All the fellas, y'all might as well get ready. Come on in here. As we get ready tonight. Come on. It's Friday. Come on. It's Friday. We got lost in translation. And the doctor too. Yep. Sit down in your chair and get this haircut tonight. Come on. Hey. We got arm pain in the building tonight. Put your hands together for arm pain tonight. Lost in translation. It's here to soothe your soul tonight. Put your damn hands together for Lost in Translation. We got the doc in the building tonight. Dr. Nakumbe will get you right. All you gotta do is listen, yeah. Come on. We grooving tonight. Go ahead and get your kids, put them in the bed. The fellas are about to talk and speak their minds tonight. This is Black Men Unfiltered Network. Barbershop Talk, baby. Let's get some blues in here. Y'all know what's up. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, y'all know what? Let me go ahead and say this before we get started. You know the rules. All right, I'm playing that back, so that hit my spirit tonight. Y'all know the rules. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe button as you come through the door. Support the channel. If you want to give to the channel, you definitely can do that by Cash App or by Super Chat tonight. Feel free to do that. I appreciate you guys. So after we groove to this tune again, as everybody's coming in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You guys have really been supporting the channel, hitting that like button, viewing the channel. And man, we just want to bring you more and more great content. So please share this tonight and all the other things that you've done in the past week. You guys have been so amazing. So thank you so much. We have some great shows, all right? All right, grab your wife, grab your husband, and come on out to the dance floor before we get started tonight. We call this song the Arm Pain Shuffle. Yes. See, this is a mixture between a preacher and a blues singer. You gotta grab your lady and come out on the floor. You gotta pull her close to you. She's sweating and she wants more. She like the way you touch her. She like your participation. But she look across the room and guess who she's on? She's lost in translation. He's talking smooth. Yeah. Come on, we jamming tonight. All right. That's enough. Because I'm gonna get lost in translation up here to bust a move. That's enough. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Black Men Unfiltered Show. This is the Barbershop. It's so good to see you guys here tonight. Here we go. Let's go. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I see you lost in translation. You seem like you're grooving tonight. Yes.
That was a jam, man. That music was hot.
Man,
it was a whole jam.
Man, whole jam. Listen, man, I felt like Martin Luther King went with the two-step, and I felt like Bobby Blue Bland with the vocals over here. I don't know what was going on.
With a sprinkle and the James Brown in the background.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get up and do my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But man, it is so good to see you guys tonight, man. Other guys will be coming in following this group here. But I'm so glad you guys are here. Lost in Translation, the doc is in the building. Our Pain is in the building. All right, so we'll start with Lost in Translation, man. How have you been doing? I know you're in the lovely state of Alabama where they don't play no games.
Listen, the power went out all day.
The folding chairs have gone up 13% at Walmart. So tell us about it. How you been doing, brother?
I've been doing good, man. You know, it's kind of hard to find a good folding chair these days. You know what I'm saying? It really is, man. I had a 6-pack ordered to, Amazon. They told me it's gonna be delayed. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get what I can get, man.
Yeah, I ordered some. They call them the Alabama Fold. I say, well, man, they pushed them back to October. I said, God, I can't get my. All right, Our Pain in the building. Our Pain, what's going on, my brother?
Man, just hanging in there, man. Another Friday. Was looking forward to the show.
Absolutely.
Can't complain. Should be some interesting discussion. Absolutely.
Any gigs tonight?
No.
After the show, no stripping and nothing. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. This guy, man. Listen, man. You try to turn off. If I was a stripper, man, I'd set the industry back like 800 years, man. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Anyway, man, I hear you, brother.
All right, and you know what? I got somebody else in here tonight, guys. He's traveling, but he is with us. You already know who it is, but you don't know who he is.
Sugar Bear.
What's going on, Doc?
Hey, what's up? Hey, I have a little background noise, but I'll mute myself. And good to see everyone in the panel here tonight. What's up? And hello to those in the channel. Look forward to a fabulous show. I did picture Our Pain. I did picture you do not stripping, but doing some real dancing to that music. It fit like your personality. I can see you getting out there, busting the move, man. So yeah.
At least I respect that, Doc. There's like a pervert over there trying to get me naked. It's kind of bad.
Yeah. He said even the folks at the senior home, they can use a good dance. But no, that music though, I picture you. Yeah, I can picture you busting the move.
Man, it was a jam. That was a nice jam.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here.
Man, glad to have you, my brother, and be safe out there on that road as you're traveling. Grooming and reviews in the building. Listen, he's looking very James Bondish tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. The ladies are gonna be in your DMs tonight, my brother.
Yeah, a little freshness. I had to get into it. Like I always say, you guys stay fresh, just stay sharp.
All right, my brother. I see you over there. How you been doing, man?
Pretty good. With you, man.
All right, man. It's good to see you. All right, man. So listen, I want to talk to you guys about this whole Alabama thing, because I didn't get a chance to talk to y'all about it. How do y'all feel about it? Like, do you think, what are your thoughts?
I'm here to tell you, the people in Alabama were just tired, man. I said, repeat after me.
I am tired of being a cream puff.
They was ready to go, man. They was ready to go. They were just looking for an opportunity to say, you know what? It's about that time. And you just ain't going to be jumping on us no more.
Yeah. And you know what, man? I know somebody that, let me say this before we move on. I know somebody who would bust a move in a minute. He just popped in the back. He's a boxer. I think he's gonna fight Crawford next. Yes. And I'm gonna give him some intro music because I know this fits him because he'll cut a rug in a minute. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, your brother from another mother. He ain't in it. He will get in it. And his name is Mr. Bennett. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bennett cut the rug for us tonight in the back. Here we go. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, in your left corner, give it up for Mr. Bennett. In the tonight. Let's get ready to rumble, baby. All right, man. It's good to see you, Mr. Bennett. How you doing tonight,
Good
brother?
to see you. I am well. Good to see you guys.
Absolutely, man. Hey, man, you hit that bag pretty good now.
That's right.
Yeah, I saw you, boy. I see, damn, Mr. Bennett. Hey, Mr. Bennett, you know, you might catch me with a couple of, I'm going to have to eat about 3 or 4 of them before I get up there. All right, man. All right.
Well, I got one for you guys. You ready for this? All right.
Yeah,
DM, I need you to back me up. Mr. Bennett, you need to back me up too. Let me in, coach.
Right.
Let me in. Let me in. Let me in.
Nice.
They ready to go.
I'm going to be over
Get
on the
these
other
hands.
side.
Get these hands.
Yeah, I'm going to be over on the other side saying, throw it in the damn time. But man, I appreciate y'all for being here. But so, thank you, Lawson Translator. You said they were tired in Alabama.
Tired,
they all
man.
came together for a good cause.
That's right. That's right. Every now and then, man, it seems like every time you look up, man, we coming up with the short end of the stick. But on that day, you know what I'm saying? I heard the lightning flash. I saw the thunder roll. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Joe Clark said.
You know, and the thing that you know, everybody defended that man. And, you know, the statute in Alabama was so clear. If you're defending someone that is being harmed, you have every right to do that and not go to jail. That's why they released all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Well, did the guy with the chair? Did
they
he
got
get
his
released?
ass. No, sir, they got him.
They got him. They got him.
He was like one.
My man was going through there like Stone Cold Steve Austin. My man was just hit shots everywhere.
Well, that's why I'm a little confused. So you know the guys, and I may not have all the videos correct, but it looked like the guys who, the brothers who went to the boat, they were not in harm's way. So how is that the same as in self-defense, since they were not in the brawl initially and then they went to it? Is that still considered?
So they were, yeah. The black guy pulled it. The black guy that was getting jumped. They were on the boat while it was happening. The boat was coming close. One dude couldn't wait. He just jumped in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And he swam over. But the other dudes waited till the boat docked and they got the boat and went out.
Got it. So, but see, even that. So isn't that considered like the threat is eliminated? So
not
they would not still be self-defense.
Yeah, not necessarily, because the guy, I think after they beat him or something, they tried to hide from the police. They tried to hide from the security. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the dudes, you know, walked up the ramp, tried to hide. And you know, those guys they were already hot. They were already on the boat hot. They were already hot. So when they got off, they went over and say, okay, you want to jump an old man? Watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what started the melee, man.
It's funny. I had well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Doc. You had more?
Oh, no, that was it. I'll wait till my turn.
No, you know, it's funny. I put out a good and bad and the ugly of this whole thing. I think the good part of it is that we see a black man actually being defended by other black men. I can't remember the last time I've seen that. Right? I mean, I still got to get to the bottom of him throwing up the hat, and I think that was beautiful, right? Threw the hat up.
That was the bat signal.
And then the thing that epitomizes all of it is the young brother swimming to the damn shore.
Man,
that's, you know, they don't have enough video of him swimming to the shore to just say, you know what, I can't wait for this boat to dock. And there's a couple of other good things. One, nobody likes to see a fight. But I like the fact that it was just fisticuffs. Nobody took
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. You know, I'm just wondering if I know there's a lot of pro-gun, Second Amendment folks in this space and whatnot. But imagine if you had a world with no guns and you had to settle stuff with your fist for the most part with these, how stuff wouldn't get started or escalated. But the problem is when you put, you know, guns in the hands of people and they're not even about that life, whatever, everyone thinks they're a tough guy, whatever. But if you got to settle stuff with your fists or with just, you know, mano y mano, you just wonder, because my biggest thing is that no one pulled the knife. I mean, you got the chair guy, but no one pulled any knives, no firearms, and that's an open carry. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lawson Translation. That's an open carry state, and the fact that nobody pulled out the weapon.
Well, let me go ahead and do this. So the way I just saw it was a beatdown, and it was man on man. Even one of the white guys afterwards, he was all black and blue. He said, "Man, who knew this 65 years? This old man could throw some hands and shit." And he was almost like, you know, this is not my typical barroom brawl. And so they got what they deserved. The bad part of it is it got a little out of hand later on. I thought, and the ugly part is that I hate to see black folks celebrating this thing from the standpoint that I think the celebration is a bit much. You start hearing people call race war and all that kind of stuff, which I think is idiotic and something we shouldn't even start to even broach, even in jest.
You know what, Armando? Right? It's the first time, I'm telling you, I saw for myself, and I know YouTube say you can't play it because they'll strike your channel. However, this is the first time I've seen, like Nelson Chancellor say, black people come together for a cause to protect another black person. That's the first thing. The second thing is the gender war ended for 30 minutes.
Yes, it did.
Yes. Those black women were high-fiving those black men. When that man, go back and watch, when that man hit that man upside the head with that chair, and then the lady in the red, she's not innocent. You got to watch her on the video. She's hitting the woman in the side and grabbing the back of her hair, and that black dude's, oh, okay, ding, right? And when he hit her, look at those black women. They jumped up, they cheering, they high-fiving, saying, yeah, that's what we do. And
I'm talking about the black women. No, but there was some black women there going after those white women who were there.
Whooping ass. Mm-hmm. And they whooped one girl so bad they threw her ass off in the water.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
I agree with you, Arpain. It was. Were you done, Arpain?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm gonna finish. But the thing is, after it's all over, nobody had injuries they couldn't heal from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was cool. I'm gonna leave you with this, and I hate to throw mud on this whole thing. I just wonder if the brothers would have jumped in, if it was a bunch of Crips beating the shit out of my man. It's just something to think.
Now we're not gonna ruin the national holiday of August the 5th. We wondered if it was blood and Crips.
I just thought I had to go out there, but we don't have to answer that. Let's move on.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? I will say this as well before Doctor goes. You remember, what's the guy's name? Aldean? The country singer, Jason Aldean, I think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he just did a song talking about white people, how white people are in small towns. And you won't come fuck with us in a small town. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. Well, that little small town, we came and it was different, and everybody was throwing and tagging Jason Aldean and all these damn videos and shit. But go ahead, Doc. You got it.
I had mixed feelings on it. I mean, I was happy that I was sad initially that it even came to that, because I was like, wow, what did he do that? Then I was thinking, was the guy intoxicated or what? But then the audacity, that's just like, it's almost a given that we could haul off on you. And so what? If we feel entitled. So to have people then go to his defense, I love that. And they have the brother in the water. But even in all of that, because there are times, any human, but at times we're always labeled as being so dangerous. But even with all that chaos, some of the men were still not even attacking the women. The women who were actually, the Caucasian women who were actually helping or hitting or doing whatever, there were some of the black men who just pushed them out the way, moved them out the way, even in all that chaos. I was like, wow, even then we were still showing some type of humility and some type of pause. And then to see the women come over like, oh, don't worry, I got you, bro.
They said, they pushed them aside. Right. They said, all right, we'll let the women take care.
Yes, woman on woman. So that I was excited for. I got a little worried when they went to the boat, the brothers. I'm like, ooh. And when I hear Lost in Translation say, hey, they've been waiting for a long time. The second I hear that, it's like, that's what that energy was. It wasn't just look for a cause, like, oh, we have an opportunity. Because when someone see you run, we all run. So I thought, oh, wow, they just waited for an opportunity. But when I hear, yep, you're damn right, this is a hell of an opportunity, and we wanted to make sure it was all done before anyone went back home. So then I'm like, okay, got it. So that was my thought on it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the justice system, man, likes to take away your pound of flesh sometimes, where we'll settle us in court. Well, guess what? It happened before court this time. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the outcomes are not always in our favor. So my thing was this. I think everybody was satisfied at the end of the day. Nobody was really righteously hurt. Everybody still got to go home. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that just taught people a lesson. You just ain't finna be jumping on nobody just because you feel like it. And ain't nobody gonna take that no more.
And so the thing is,
and look at the trauma. Look at the trauma. Camera for me, man, Dre. I want to see your ugly ass face. But look at the trauma. Look at the trauma that's connected to it, right? Yeah. Because remember, in the 30s and 40s, where a group of white men could come jump a black dude right there, and you had no choice other than just watch.
Nothing. Yep.
You were sitting watching, get his ass stomped out, hung up, lynched, whatever.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, see, in Montgomery, Alabama, there's some of this in Birmingham and Mobile too, but there's a lot of stuff that didn't make it into history books and on the news. Like where white people said, okay, we'll cut the nonsense is when black people got in city buses and carpooled and went to a white neighborhood and they had bats and shit and they were ready to get down there. They actually mobbed up and went to a white neighborhood. And that's when the police had to come in and stop them and stuff like that. They weren't going to do anything. They was out there in protest, but they had weapons at the same time just in case. That event never made it to any history books, even in Alabama history. It's not in there. You have to hear from your grandparents and other people here have to tell you, And so that's when everything like shifted almost on a dime. The racists kept it to themselves. There's still racism here, but it's all quiet. There's no overt in-your-face racism because you get your ass kicked for something like that.
Mandrell, we were talking about that country song. I don't know if you heard. Would you say it was in the 60s? I mean, I'm sure there's a time gap.
Yeah.
Was that country song, was that kind of not related to the 60s, but was that him saying like, you won't come to a small town?
No, here's the thing. The guy was just a flat out racist. Number one, the dude was white and he's from Selma. As soon as anyone from this area hears that, white plus Selma equals racist, Doc. Okay, well, you're white. What do you do? You're white. What do you do to Selma unless you're a racist?
Hold on, Mandrell. But he's from Selma, but his video was very strategic because what he did was he went and shot the video in Tennessee in front of the courthouse in Tennessee that had the most hangings of black people ever.
Are you talking about the country singer? Yeah, wait. Are you talking about the country singer? Oh, I don't know. Here's the thing.
You said some of it wasn't in the history books, and I said even though it was a time gap, but was that kind of his like? You might have gone back then on a bus, but I bet you won't come to no small town and do that.
No. Here's the thing. There's been this quiet truce between black people and white people in Montgomery and the tri-state area, Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, ever since that event. Like, it's one of those things where, okay, the racial line, we won't cross that. Like, it's in Birmingham too. Like lost in translation, I'm sure he'll tell you, it's quiet racism. They get you in some other way, but they're not going to come to your face and call you the N-word. Plus, white people now of today, of my generation and younger, they look at that video like, well, they got what they got. They deserved it. They deserved that ass whooping. It's not a thing anymore, man. And it's not as racist as people think it is here. And no, it's not as racist as you might think in Alabama. It's because black people just ain't having it. It's a thing. Like, I remember being in second grade, I got into a fight with a white dude. The teacher hears him calling me the N-word, right? They suspend the white boy for 2 weeks. Nothing happened to me, right? Say this case here, when the police report came out and it's in the transcript when the white dude said F that N-word. So that's why the police was like, oh, okay, cool. If you notice, when the police showed up, they were not in any rush to break up that fight.
Nope.
They walked around to everybody else. Hey, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you got the video? Yeah. Hey, show me the video. Show me the video. And then when they saw the video, oh, so the white dude threw the first punch. Okay, cool. And they still sat there for a few minutes and watched those people get beat up. Because here's the thing. That's the thing. Like, no one's gonna help a racist in Alabama. If you're an overt, in-your-face racist in Alabama, no one's gonna help you because the thing is, there's too much trauma in this area left over from Jim Crow and civil rights. There's too much trauma left over for anyone to tolerate it. And notice we got a black mayor, we got a black chief of police.
Let me tell you this though, in Alabama, hold on real quick, Arpain, in Auburn, Alabama. I don't know if y'all heard about this yet. It's on the news. I saw it today on Indisputed. In Auburn, Alabama, there was a teacher, a white teacher, walked up to some kids at a pool, and she told them to move away from the pool. She went in her apartment, and got cups of soda and bleach and started pouring it on the kids' heads while they were trying to get in the pool. She just sat there, just poured it on those kids' heads.
Okay.
And I don't understand why she ain't beat up. Maybe the mama was not there. Maybe there was no.
There's a lot of things that we don't know yet about that, because I mean that sounds like it's taken out of context. I'm not saying the white woman was justified. You're clearly not justified for doing that to children.
Yeah, somebody videoed it sitting in their car. They were sitting in their car and they videoed her pouring that shit on
the thing is, I'm quite sure when those kids' parents found out, something was done about it.
Yeah.
The thing is, the whole racism thing.
Well, they got a lawyer.
The thing is, Montgomery can't afford it, and that's and the whole city knows it. The judges know it. They can't afford to have that kind of thing, like a George Floyd or Philando Castile, because black people go to white neighborhoods out there on Pike Road and blow shit up. They will. Here's the thing. Here's how fast word spreads. I didn't know anything about this event Saturday, but Sunday morning, I had message after message after message. And people knew where these people lived, their home address. They knew the businesses that they owned.
Yep.
They knew where they were in less than 24 hours.
Yep.
And my thing is, when it comes to racism, that's how black people in this area moves. They spread the word, so you know, hey, watch out for them. They like that.
But let me say this though, Mandrill. Let me say this. It's like, it's like something if you go back and watch the video and just try to watch it, not from the exciting point of view, but try to watch it from a trauma point of view. Bro, it's like when you see that man getting beat, it's like it's something unlocked in those black people. It's like something that was inside them that's been locked up for so long just came out.
Here's what it is. Number one, the brother who works at the port, the vice captain, he is from a neighborhood called Trentham Court, right? Trentham Court gets active, period. I'll tell you how old and ancient that place is. My father and all of his siblings grew up there. It's Section 8 housing and foreclosure. It's a projects. It's the projects, right? Them jokers, and see, that dude was from there. And normally here, when there's projects and there's violence in the projects, it's not from the people who live in that area. It's from someone who's not from there and came into the area bringing the drama. But people in projects here, they're very neighborly and they look out for one another.
Yeah, everybody know each other.
Everybody know each other. Everybody know each other kids. So when some people on that boat was from Tulane Court too, when they saw that, it was on. It was on and popping. It was on site. It's like, no, that's one of ours. You know what I'm saying? You finna catch these hands. Don't matter, and ain't nobody gonna stop us. And the arrogance of these people. You had the boat there, so the Harriet docks, right? The Harriet 2 docks. You were still there after that whole incident. You had plenty of time to get on that boat and drive the fuck up the river and get away. They
had been asking them for 45 minutes to move
the boat. Yeah, and your arrogant ass stayed there. You had these black people on that boat waiting to get off for 45 minutes. Then you jumping on a dude, jumping on a black dude. Yeah, you finna catch these hands and feet, and you arrogant enough to still be there. See, if you notice when they docked, the black people first black people who got off was like, oh no, why y'all leaving now? Why you leaving now? And they just snatched their asses off that boat.
Yep.
I'm telling you, listen.
They fucked up.
They might have known. I don't know, but I mean, anybody. The other thing is, even the white people in this area, they look at that stuff as like it's not fashionable to be racist anymore. Here.
But you know what was bold though? When that white lady went over there while the black guy was down, and she went over there and kicked him in his fucking head. I say, damn, she is bold. Wow. And man, when he seen them damn anacondians coming down that goddamn thing, no Wakandians coming down that goddamn thing with them shirts off, he said, oh, we done fucked up because he knew it. And they said, get off this boat.
But BMU, that's what I'm talking about. That's bold, but that's that entitlement. I mean, one, he was down, but that entitlement, like, who was he? Just went over and kicked him, like, wow.
Yep. So, reviews. Did you get a chance to see that?
I just want to give you a little like since I live here, I want to give you a little inside information, like as to like what's actually going on and what's being said and what's been done in this community. Like this kind of thing, no one's gonna sit around and watch a bunch of white people jump a black person here. it doesn't happen. It's just, again, this happens. We see it happen on TV, but everyone rioted with George Floyd. I'm gonna lay my point on this. Everybody rioted with George Floyd. Everybody rioted with Rodney King. Everybody got in the streets and threw stuff and celebrated with OJ. They did none of that here, and that's because we don't have problems out of it like that.
All right, Metro, let's get grooming and reviews in, and then we'll get who else? Grooming and reviews and somebody else. Oh yeah, Hank. What's up, Hank? What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's happening, Hank?
What's going on, brother?
Grooming and reviews. You can go first. Go ahead.
Here's my thing. When years ago, I used to teach martial arts, karate, and I used to tell my kids the same thing I tell you guys. I cut my hand, I bleed. You cut your hand, you bleed. We're the same person and day. We both come from God. It doesn't matter what color of skin you have, what color of thing you are. I don't care what you believe in. We all come from the same person. So I had a big beef when we took the statue of General Lee down because it's a history of ours, where we came from. It's a dark history. I give you that. But if we don't leave those up to remember where we came from and how things happen, history will keep repeating itself.
Come on, Mr. Bennett. Come on, Mr. Bennett.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just agreeing with R. Payne was saying. I'm just glad that it didn't escalate farther, especially in a state like that, where you do have open carry, where you do have people who are free to move around. They come in Northeast, so again, that doesn't happen here like that. But the fact that people came away with relatively few injuries. The police were there a good majority of the time. They didn't go crazy, macing people or taking action. So it could have been a lot worse. But certainly I thought it was to some extent inspirational. Just seeing how people came together to protect someone. If we can only apply that, and rather than having violence against one another, and we can turn our rage into more positive causes like that when those things happen. So I was just happy just overall, and that's why I can kind of laugh at some of the things, because things didn't get they could have went a lot worse, and especially with the police being there, they didn't escalate it. So that was the thing, that the police were able to de-escalate the situation, get the people who were primarily responsible. They listened to the people who were on the boat to get those responsible, get those guys handcuffed and be able to squash the situation. So kudos to the police in that area for handling it the way they did. And so I was definitely happy that outcome was about as good as it can happen given all the circumstances that took place.
Indeed.
Grooming and reviews. I just want to check. Are you okay? I mean, I wasn't sure about your comment. Like, are you okay? You said history repeats itself. They took the statue down. Something. Then you stopped. I just want to make sure, like.
No, that was it pretty much, because being Greek and coming from history, one thing about us Greeks, we don't take our history down. We leave it up there to remind us where we came from, how things were built, or what if that or other. Like taking the statue down, I don't think it was appropriate. I disagree with you. Maybe some of you guys disagree with me, and that's fine. But I feel the statue should be there so we can look at, like, okay, this is where we came from. Like, this person struggled, or I had a friend who his great-grandfather was a slave, or whatever the case is.
Right.
We should keep it up there. I think it's
go ahead. Grooming. My only pushback on what you're saying is that for a lot of those statues that they were erected in the early 1900s. So in other words, these were Civil War people. The South lost the war, so it's not like they put those monuments up after the war was over to commemorate the war. This was basically the pushback from a lot of Southern white people to erect these statues as their heroes, still wanting to keep the legacy of the Confederacy alive. So this wasn't to say we need to remind ourselves of our history so that we don't repeat these things. It wasn't done in a memorial setting. It was actually it was people who still believed in the Confederacy, that they still wanted these up. So a lot of those statues that you're talking about, they came up in the 1920s, 30s, several decades after that war was over. So if it was a commemoration saying, hey, we need to remember this so that this doesn't get repeated, that's one thing. But that was just a lot of people flexing just to say, hey, the Confederacy, and you still see it now. I mean, with all the Confederate flags that we've seen in the last few years and whatnot. So there's still that. I mean, I live in the Northeast. I've seen guys in New Jersey, New York with Confederate flags. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all not even from that area. So the Confederate flag in a lot of ways still has that connotation, like, you know, it's almost like a language that you're speaking, almost as a form of intimidation. So that'd be my only pushback. If they were erected for that reason, I would agree with you, but they weren't.
See, that's a double-edged sword. You can look at it that way, and you're right, 100%. I'm not going to argue. I will respect that. But I also look at it now, okay, generations later, now, okay, it was pushed back for that reason, but we need to change the mentality. That is history now. No. But in the same token, I definitely understand where you're coming from. They put it up to say, hey, you know, kind of big fuck you in your face kind of thing. And that's not right either.
But before Hink goes to Mr. Bennett's point, actually those statues and a whole lot more was the reparations the North paid to the South. Mm-hmm. The North paid reparations to the South for the war after it was over. And keeping those statues was part of it. A lot of people don't realize that. They got money, they got land, they got to keep a lot of shit after getting
Compromise of 1876 did a lot to reverse anything that was gained after.
Right. So those statues represent the fact that they lost the war, but they were able to keep their dignity as best they could.
But the thing is, ultimately, also those statues need to come down. Like I graduated from Robert E. Lee High School, and as you know, Robert E. Lee was a general of the Southern Army during the Civil War, right? Yeah. That they were traitors to the United States. You know, the very existence was treasonous. Yeah, it was a civil war. The Union won. The United States won that civil war, right? So the U.S. won. So these Southern generals, they were traitors to the United States. Why erect a statue to a traitor? So just in the name of patriotism alone, they should go. Their name should be on no buildings. Right. They should be remembered as cautionary tales.
Right. And I was here in Dallas. I was a part of that. After this, you can jump in. And here in Dallas, I was a part of them removing the Robert E. Lee statue here. And I still got this old video footage. I'm gonna do a show one day and show you guys the video footage of us going down, speaking truth to power, saying that there's a black family here taking a picture in front of Robert E. Lee statue, and they don't even know who this motherfucker was. And so after a while, it took us months, but after a while, they said we're gonna take it down. Right? We got enough signatures, we got enough people involved, we took it down, got it took down. The night that they took it down, everybody wanted to go out and watch it come down. Well, I got video, guys. I'm about to show it to you. We're going to do a whole show on it. There were guys standing on the side, white dudes, a whole bunch of them, come in on motorcycles, trucks, and they were standing on this side. The Dallas police were on horseback in the middle, and there were black people on this side. And when I tell you, it got really, really bad. I can't say it online because I don't know if they're still watching. It got physically bad to the point where the white guys were spitting across the horses and it was hitting the black dudes.
I think the fact that it comes from horses is bad enough.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Everybody wanted to go to jail when that happened. It was over. The fight, they didn't have enough police to stop that.
Let me ask you guys a question. Would you guys feel the same way if they took it down but relocated it out, destroying it?
No.
It needs to be destroyed. They're traitors.
Yeah,
they're traitors. They committed treason, open rebellion against the United States. No, that's a punishment. It's punishable by death, dude. My thing is, if you wanted to put some kind of picture of them in there and give us some data about them in a museum, fine. But you never erect a statue of an enemy. Why celebrate an enemy and a traitor at that?
None of them. 100% honest, and this is part of my fault. I didn't know he was a traitor. I will be 100% take full responsibility.
No problem. That's understandable. You know, if you're not originally from here, it's totally understandable. You know what I mean? I'll just let you know from my point of view. Yeah. The Southern Army committed treason. They were in open rebellion, and it's not even my point of view. It's a fact by definition. They were every single one of them traitors to the U.S.
I did check your phone.
Well, I wasn't trying to grooming and reviews. I wasn't trying to get like a riot going. I heard you say history repeats itself. I was like, oh shit, is Mandela in trouble? Like he's down there, and history will repeat itself. History will repeat itself. I was like, oh shit, Mandela's in trouble.
I'm not trying to start a pot or anything. Like I think we
no. We need to have this conversation, bro. So I mean,
that's where I was going with
this. This is the form to have it in. Again, this is open form. Let's be honest. Let's be transparent.
Right.
And if there's information that can be shared, knowledge can be transferred. That's what this forum is about. So don't feel like you got to be restricted with it. It's all good.
And I'll say this to add to what we said earlier. People were asking the name of the courthouse. The name of the courthouse that Jason Aldean did, don't try that in a small town where he shot the video. It's called the Maury County Courthouse. And the first hanging there was an 18-year-old boy in 1927. His name was Henry Choate, and they hung him up because he bumped into a white lady while he was walking down the sidewalk, and they hung him for it.
And that was at Lexus? I mean, that was in Tennessee?
That was yes, and they hung him at the courthouse in the Maury County Courthouse, and that's where Jason Aldean shot his video in front of that courthouse. Also, another statue that needs to come down in Central Park, in New York, of course, Marion Sims. They call him the father of modern, what do you call it? Like OGBYN for the ladies. There we go. Yes. He took babies, screwed in their heads, took pieces of them out. He ripped women apart. Absolutely. Look him up. His name is Marion Sims. Everything that they do, people go for pap smears. Ladies go to the doctor, to the lady appointments, right? They say he's the father of that, but people don't even know the history of that. This man used to cut women open, and in his journals, he said that black women are supernatural. They have a supernatural power because they have no anesthesia and they can endure tremendous amounts of pain when I'm cutting them open. And he used to cut them open, dissect them, take their babies out of them, and take little things and screw it into their brains to see how much pain the baby could take. And they got a big ass statue of him in Central Park right now.
What a sick fuck.
Yeah, they got a big ass statue of him. His name is Marion Sims. If you want to Google him, Marion Sims.
Okay.
MARIONSIMS. Yeah, Sims.
Grooming. Do you now see why black people are so pissed off? That's what you want to erect the statue to. You're like, why are you erecting the statue to that guy? Look,
you know what?
You know what I mean? It's like,
you know how I am when it comes to history. Even Central Park was not Central Park. Central Park was a small town, just like
Seneca Village.
Yes, there you go. It was a small town just like Tulsa. They went in there, made all those people move, beat them down, killed some of them, took it because the city wanted to have a park, and they beat up all the black people, killed half of them, threw them all out, and made it Central Park. So
yes,
all those houses are buried. All those houses are buried under Central Park.
They made a movie about it across 110th Street.
Yep.
And see, here's the thing: they have a lot of cities that are under lakes in Georgia, in Tennessee, in Alabama, and places like that. But that type of stuff doesn't make it to the history books when you're controlling those textbooks that go out. You see what I'm saying? And I think the real reason why people hate the information age is because you can only slow down information so much.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like they tell you, well, you can't post the video online. We already saw the video. You can say whatever narrative you want. Depending upon what city you go to or what newspaper outlet you get your news from, the headlines were all different. You know what I'm saying? They'll have one headline that says, a gentleman was jumped by 4 thugs in Alabama, but they don't tell you what the makeup is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or they'll spin it where the people who were beating him were the ones who were actually the ones that were the victims. You know what I'm saying? So depending upon where you get your news from, that information is spin a certain way. And if you're not paying attention to that, you'll fall for anything. But that's the main reason why they really, really hate this new information age, because you can't hide stuff anymore. Just think about it. If this took place in 85 where we didn't have any cameras, would the story would have been told correctly?
No.
You see what I'm saying? So right now we're starting to see things for what they really are.
You know what the story would have ended up like? You ever seen Rosewood?
Oh, yes.
Remember the part when Bing Raines ran into the woods and he shot at all of them and they ran out and said, it's a whole bunch of niggas in there.
It was just one.
The story won't be told. I sent it to your IG, Illuminated. But yeah, it won't be told right. And So I just want to go there. But anyway, Hank, what are your thoughts about the rumble in the jungle over there in Alabama, my brother?
Battle of the Riverfront. That's what it is.
Bama brawling.
I mean, I really didn't give a shit, man. I mean, fuck Alabama. I mean, your ass Negroes. You know, they've been shucking and jiving for a long time, like man girl said.
Dang it.
Motherfuckers doing Rodney King, they didn't uprise then. Doing OJ, they didn't do shit then.
They were scared, Hank.
No, we didn't have them. We don't have them problems here.
See, but it doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
The good Dr. King said one person had a problem, we all should have a problem.
All got a problem. Absolutely.
I don't see just because y'all was some good, y'all was Negroes was good. The master was feeding y'all better than some of the other Negroes. Don't mean y'all shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Feel bad for the Negroes that was suffering.
Hank, you light skinned. You was right along with me.
Fuck that shit.
You light skinned too, Hank.
God damn. But shit, we all black. You stop all that light skin, dark skin shit. We all black. I promise you.
I agree.
When a white boy, they didn't say always light skin. They said he Negro.
Mm-hmm. Hank, I don't know if you heard it. I think it was BMU who said for 30. Was it either BMU or LIT said for 30 minutes there was no gender wars. Like there in that moment, you know, everyone went in. So light skin, dark skin, woman, man.
That dude did crown that heifer with a chair. So that maybe could fall up under the gender war.
Right.
Man hit one with a chair.
I mean the blacks didn't have.
Okay. And we was on one accord that day.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, on a serious note, man, I don't have no problem with it, man. My only thing is I didn't understand that women getting involved. That makes no sense to me. You know, if that was me, and my wife was there or something, my lady was there, I'd say, hey, take your ass home, get back on that boat, and let us handle it. And whatever happens, happens. I need for you to be calling the police, calling the law, while I'm trying to handle this and defend myself or get these dudes up off me or whatever the case may be. You know, once women came down there and got involved in the situation, I'm not going to look at you as a woman anymore. I'm not going to treat you as such. I'm not going to let up off of you. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to knock your ass out. If you come down there swinging with the men, oh, yeah, you stepped out of a woman's place now. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to treat you as such. You a threat, you enemy. I don't have no sympathy for you no more. So the ladies should not have been involved in that at all. That don't make sense. They should have been out of it. You know what I'm saying? If you know, wait till the fight's over, you come down there, you know, you wipe my wounds off, make sure I'm okay, and get me to a safe place. But that's after everything's done. Don't come out in the midst of it and don't expect to get, you know, hands laid on you because, you know, the testosterone's flowing. I mean, these dudes are upset. They mad. They frustrated. They they mad about 400 years of oppression, slavery. They mad about you know, no colors in the restaurant. They mad about sitting in the back of the goddamn bus. All that shit came up.
That's a lot of tension.
So Hank, I was actually
complimenting.
I was complimenting, saying, "Hey, one of the things I was proud of, a lot of the men. I mean, there was some scuffle and some pushing, but some of the men actually moved the Caucasian women to the side and chose not to fight back. And then the sisters came down and fought them. So I was actually saying, man, that was pretty good. That even in the middle of all that chaos, these men did not hit these women. But are you saying they probably would? The one in the red would probably got knocked out?
Doctor, a couple of women did get hit.
Right.
A couple of women got hit.
White women
I think, yeah, and they threw the one in the water too. Yeah.
White women got hit.
Oh yeah. Because some of the white women got off and started swinging at the men. You dummy.
Yeah, but they should have. But that's not the smart thing to do. That's not the smart thing to do.
Lay your
I
ass
agree
out.
with Hank. I agree with Hank. The women should have just stayed out of it.
Yeah, stay your ass out of it.
Yeah,
I was about to ask that question. Is that shared across the board? Like if you're in a scuffle at all, and your woman sees you getting hit on or whatever, and her instinct might be just to go in and try, you know, is it pretty much across the board? Everyone says, look, stay in the car, call the cops, or get away from the scene, or what have you. I mean, is that across the board?
The thing about it is that was a different energy.
It's what you would like to do, right? If you were with your honey, right, and the dude comes up against you and he got a woman with him. Now, I would expect my woman to take the woman on if she tries to jump in. But you don't want your woman to jump in if you're fighting a man, because in the midst of battle, if he sees her, he might just throw her without thinking. He might just throw a haymaker. Let me just end it here. Remember that Pittsburgh Steelers fight where the woman was out of line and she slapped her brother and he knocked her boyfriend out? He took great pains not to slug that bitch, and she deserved it.
Wow.
You could tell he was, as hot as he was, he took great pains not to hit that woman.
But you know what, R-Pain? When she spit at that man, listen to me. I'm the type of dude, I'm a country boy. I don't get, if you spit on me, I don't see gender. I'm telling you right now. You spit in my face, I'm gonna knock your ass the fuck out.
We don't see that. Listen, black man,
male, female, or other.
The thing is, it's the same way here. It's the same way here. Spitting on somebody is kind of the worst thing you can do. Here's the thing.
I'm ready to slap the shit out of me.
The thing is,
I'm ready to slap the shit out of me.
Now that we know for a fact these people are racist, and they said the white dude who started the fight said F that nigga. There's no judge in this state that's not gonna prosecute them. Like the whole court case is gonna be like a dog and pony show, but it'll be real quick. It ain't gonna be no long trial or nothing. Alabama's gonna swing the white people.
Right, but Mandrell, like if you got hit and you were kind of dazed and stuff and woozy, and their women was hitting in on you and stuff, would you want if your woman was there, would you want her to come down to aid you or to fight back, or what would you want from her?
I'm with Hank on this, and I want her to stay clear away from it, as far away from it as possible. I don't want her to jump into that. No, because I don't want her to get hurt.
I think that's a noble desire. I'm just saying, but just the instinct of a woman. I mean, could you fault your woman for seeing you getting assaulted and just instinctively? I mean, all of us would say, yeah, keep our women away from.
But you say stay back. If she said, "Oh hell no, you ain't doing that shit to my man,"
I'm not going to be upset after. I'd be more it'd be out of concern for her more so than being upset with it.
Okay.
I think everybody's
in the movies. The guy gets shot and he says, "No, go." But then later they argue, "Bitch, what you leave for? I got shot. Fuck them. You left." So,
but you know what though, Dr. Nkumbe? I'm a movie guy, so I refer everything back to movie lines. You remember in Predator, when the Predator came down to the bald head guy, what was his name? He said, "I'm having some fun."
Yeah.
I think if I'm fighting the guy and his wife hits me, those are my words. I'm having some fun. I'm gonna whoop both of their ass.
Right.
Baby, stay right there. Stay right there, baby. I got him. Don't you worry about that.
Here's what we're forgetting too: is most women are worse than men when they fight.
Here's my thing. Y'all missing the fact that the woman, she snuck in some blows while the dude was dogpiled.
Yeah, she
was.
Yeah.
The other women saw that. We already know these guys not going to hit these women, so we're going to make sure we get her back for what she did. That's all that was.
You heard the women on the boat. We don't get you, bitch.
Right.
Right. But on the serious note, and I know Easy and other brothers here, I just want to say real quick on a serious note, I also wondered if there was a hesitation out of fear. Now, listening to Mandrell, it sounds like there's not a fear, but my initial thought, and I'm up in Minnesota, where even the men and the women who would have been fighting that one guy, the men who would have assisted probably would not have hit the women not out of just courtesy, but also out of that initial, like to me, that was groundbreaking what happened. So that initial pause to hit them would be like, well, you're part of it, even though you're hitting us and kicking us, but the initial hesitation would have been out of fear. But here in Mandrell's side, it sounds like that fear was not there.
They were not scared.
Okay.
Well, certainly, you can't say that about the chair guy. Chair guy was just sitting everybody after a while. He wasn't caring about whether it's male or female. He was just in another.
Right. And also, for the record, he got that chair off the boat, people. I've heard people saying, "Where did he get the chair from? Where's the chair?" Yeah, there's no chairs on the dock at all, like anywhere near it. He got it off the boat. That's where he got that chair.
I think that was pent up. He was waiting for that. He was
He heard that. Steve,
no, that guy was 42 years old.
It was over.
That guy was 42. The guy in his 60s was the guy who was in the initial fight. The black dude who was worked on the
the captain.
The hat guy.
Yeah, the co-captain. Yeah,
I'm gonna say this. Then we get easy money here. Even the guy in the purple shirt with the hat came in. I mean, he was throwing Thanos punches in the crowd. He just hit everybody in the crowd. Said, "Damn!" So anyway, Easy Money Jones, what were your thoughts about the Thriller in Manila?
Yeah, so as somebody who has a grandfather who drunk from the colored fountain.
Okay, here we go.
Whoa! It did my heart great joy.
Homeboy.
Somebody watching porn.
Well, Payne, come on, man. God damn.
God damn. Our Payne watching corn while we on the show.
Yeah. He on a panel full of dudes. He gonna whip out porno. Come on, man.
What are you talking about, man? I just ripped up the doctor shit, man. You had something for me?
I'm saying all I heard was Big Daddy Go. What was that?
Nah, man. I just didn't go over. I was going to look for the chair thing because I wanted to look at the chair beat.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so what do y'all mean, man? And besides,
we just heard a background with a lot of moaning in it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and finish that thought. So, like I said,
that's funny.
Hey, Dr. Nakube, I'm gonna bring you back when you're ready for the perspective. Are you still driving?
I pulled over, so I'm good. I'll wait. I pulled over, so I'll wait.
Okay, I'm
cool, good.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, as somebody who actually I'll even include my pops whose father desegregated the schools in Gary, Indiana, whose grandfathers, drunk from colored water fountains, whose great grandfathers, had beef with the Klan. It did my black heart a lot of joy to see our people whip on those white folks on that dock. I'm not even I'm not even ashamed to say that. It felt like reparations. But
no, let's slow down.
Feel empty.
Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. He said it felt like reparations. I was with him up all the way until he said that. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey, you was doing good now.
Yeah, he was doing real good.
That wasn't even a goddamn chicken dinner. God damn.
I got an auntie. I got an aunt that she in her old age, she kind of. So when she saw the video, my brother is so fucking stupid. She saw the video and she started singing. She started saying, and she changed the words to the song. She said, "We have overcome." I said, "What the fuck?" And I didn't want to laugh at her because I know she old and she in her old age, but you know me, I'm goofy a bit. So I'm laughing my ass off. Right? And my brother like, "Man, don't laugh at her, bro. She's sitting up here shaking watching this shit." And I was like, "Bro, she was happy." He said she was just smiling. And the thing that she said that wasn't funny, she said, "What if we had that same kind of mindset when we were slaves, watching our men get beat and our women get raped?" Can you imagine all those slaves, one man on a horse with a gun and 45 slaves picking cotton? Imagine if that would have happened. They would have pulled his ass off that horse and just beat him, just went into the house, big house, and beat up everybody in there. I mean, it'd have been a different story.
So black man, to that point, and I understand the thought there, but there were several slave rebellions that occurred during slavery. Mm-hmm. But to the point that was made earlier, you're not going to see a lot of those in the history books, because those rebellions were put down in many cases pretty quickly and violently.
Yeah,
but there were several slave revolts during slavery. I do just want to kind of make sure that context is added.
Yeah,
years before Nat Turner. Years before Nat Turner.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't print
it. Years after.
Yeah, they're gonna put that in the books.
And it's like man, fellas, it's like I told you, like even growing up here, we had to learn Alabama history, of course, but even here, like I told you, what really ended the overt in-your-face racism here, those events aren't in history books. They're just not. You can't let people know that. And I understand it. You can't let people know that black people did that. Like I said, black people in Montgomery, at least, they put an end to that in-your-face racism right after that whole civil rights thing, because white people was pissed off about it. But then they carpooled, and then black people worked for the city, got them city buses. People jumped on them. They went into a white neighborhood to riot and protest. And that's when white people are like, okay, we don't feel safe. Then they ask black people, what do you want us to do? Black people basically like, leave us the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when they're like, oh, that's it? Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll leave you alone. And since then, racism has been dying out really fast, actually. I mean, you find more and more white people, white people they don't even like it here anymore. The people like in me and JT's generation and younger, they don't know, it's not cool being a racist. You get laughed at.
And the ones that consider themselves racist, they looked at, it's like they're the minority.
Yeah, they are very much so the minority. And then like their kids with racist parents, they're embarrassed. Their parents embarrass them. They're embarrassed to say that those people are their parents, because we've been integrated so long, and now people have been able to understand each other and talk to each other, and people see each other as just people now. Like the mayor and the chief of police weren't lying when they said this kind of thing doesn't happen here. It only happens when someone who's not from here comes in here and brings it. That's the only time anything like this would happen, because that whole area there, again, people go there to have fun and enjoy and see the sights and socialize. No drama happens down there at the riverfront or downtown Montgomery. It just doesn't happen.
So those white people weren't from Montgomery.
No, they were from, like I said, they're from Selma, which means, like I said, white plus Selma equals racist.
Listen.
We'll get into the conversation. I want to get Easy Money. Easy Money, were you done?
Yeah, I'm good. I appreciate it.
So what was our opinion saying?
Let's get Illuminated. We'll get to them in a minute. We'll make sure everybody go first. Illuminated, go ahead. What are your thoughts,
gentlemen?
Yeah,
what's going on?
What's going on, Illuminated?
On the
my wife told me about the video, and I hadn't heard about it because I usually check. I usually check the other stuff, but so when I watched it, I was like, Alabama, really? Because I graduated from Mississippi. My father was from Mississippi.
That's
Meridian,
different.
Ain't nothing more racist than Mississippi.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
All the races moved from here to there.
Woo, shit.
Would you stop it, Mandrell?
I'm just saying, Illuminated. You know it. You used to live in Mississippi. You know I'm not lying. All the races moved out of Alabama and Mississippi.
Well, I was stationed in Alabama.
I said Mississippi racist.
Yeah,
good Lord.
I was stationed in Alabama, and I did.
Infinity Gauntlet.
I was stationed in where was that at? Where I was stationed at? Montgomery? Not Montgomery. I had another assignment down there, but for me it was Army.
Okay.
Yeah, but for me it's like what is happening is history is repeating itself. I heard someone comment that, but what it is the chicken has come home to roost, because every 2,000 years there is a regime change. And I get that principle from a biblical principle of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Japheth is about to lose his power. And you hear the word in the stuff I've been studying, a lot of stuff has been coming up about colonization, and all the things that the Caucasians have colonized, the different areas and stuff. And you're seeing a lot of pushback, especially overseas, Middle East, when the Caucasian comes and tries to lecture, and this is no racist thought against white people, but it's just a historical and documented fact. It's happening and it's coming, and there's nothing you really can do to stop it, because every 2,000 years someone takes charge. So what's happening now, from what I see, is if black folks can get themselves, it's going to be our turn again. And when that happens, it's going to be a sad day for some folks, because Japheth knows what's coming. Is biblically written, and there's a reason why they didn't canonize the Apocrypha. There's a couple of scriptures there that points to that, the sons of Cain or Edom, So my thing is that all you're seeing is a manifestation of what is about to take place. You can do a peaceful transition, or be like Malcolm X said, So for me, I got to watch more of it. I just saw, the little YouTube clip of it, but obviously you guys have been describing it tonight. It was a little bit more in depth, because that's one of the jokes brother told me about in the gym. He said, "Hey man, I got that chair outside." I said, "Boy," that's one of my boys. He be working out. He's still active. I said, "Boy, you better stop it." And it was another sister over there. She works out too every morning, and we just fell out laughing. So among the African American community, it's sort of like, I believe someone said, it's sort of like a relief. It's like, okay, we see what's happening. And to your aunt's point, it's not that she's old up in age, is that it was all that pain of oppression. And to see, because back then, my father grew up too. He grew up in a segregated system to where he wasn't allowed to read and wasn't allowed to go to school but 6 months out of a year. So for those elderly people that's still hanging on and hanging around, to see that revolt, it does their soul good, because they weren't allowed to do that. And most people may think that, oh, you guys are being hateful. Oh, there come these black man in field had a blackity black show. No, it wasn't that. It's like you guys said, it's documented and it's a historical fact. And now I'll land the plane with this. This is why Revelations 2:9, let's go lost in translation. You tried those who were Jews and were not. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, appreciate you, man. We got JT.
All right, 313
in the building tonight. What's going on, JT?
What's going on, man? What's popping with everybody, man? How's everybody doing? Mr. Bennett, my boy Hink, Payne, my man Groom, Lost in Translation.
What's happening?
My boy Mandrell. Love your show today, bro.
Appreciate it.
And
Appreciate it.
of course,
Hey,
my
Mandrell,
brother.
can you turn your camera on, or you back there shaving your legs watching this shit naked or something?
No, nothing like that. I'm not like our Payne. I don't watch porn when I'm around dudes, man. I can't do that. That's gay.
Got a big ass picture of RuPaul while you looking at the motherfucker. Just staring.
What's going on, Easy?
I resent that. Because now you guys got me thinking about turning on some porn later on, man. And I'm done, man. It's all your fault.
But after JT would get into the meat of the show, go ahead, JT.
I hate to say it, man, but you know what, man? I haven't watched a good porn flick in a long time, man. So I'm blaming this shit on you if I fall off the wagon. Oh,
it's not the same, bro. It is not the same. It's listen. Remember when every grown man had a decent amount of porn back in the day, a safe amount of porn.
Right
now you ain't got that. That it's all on the internet and stuff. Now I don't even know how they even make money, but they still figuring out how to do
advertisement.
Yeah, that's basically Twitter, or the former Twitter, X.
Yep.
But yeah, man. Just on the subject, bro. I didn't know what to even think about it because I seen it in real time. I didn't well, close to real time. It wasn't really in real time, but I seen it close to it, and I didn't really pay it no mind. You know how you just get the internet make you real numb to a lot of things, and you just scroll and you scroll up. It's like you see enough of this, and I didn't know if it was, I thought it was black people either getting ready to get arrested or getting their ass whooped. But when I watched it, and then I just seen how it started going viral, and I seen, the chair and the Aquaman thing, and I was like, man, let me see what this story is all about. And when I seen it, I said, oh, and then I seen it again. I said, oh, damn. And I cannot lie, I had a sense of pride.
Yeah.
Just for that moment, I was like, wow. So I understand what a lot of black folks was feeling at that time. But I was just so numb to a lot of things that happen on the internet now, where I didn't really pay attention to it till probably Monday. I saw it Saturday night. I wasn't paying it any attention. But it showed just for a moment, man, just what we really as black folks can do when it comes down to that. When it comes not this whole thing with black people versus white people. It's just being able to battle adversities. You know what I'm saying? Being able to really stick together and do, because that was just a snippet of what we can do. It was just like a moment that can show us that it's not all, dead. And, you got a lot of people that they've given up just pretty much on Black American culture, right? Look at all the stuff that's happening, and look at how, suppressed we are because of our own doing. So to see something like that, it did just that little snippet, man. It really gave a little bit of hope, where it's like, okay, we can get back on point. Now, what I can say is that it also shows that there is a different time right now when it really, really kind of steps on a lot of so-called pro-blacks talking points. That whole oppression thing, and remember back in slavery, because when I hear these so-called pro-blacks speak on that, they always tell us that we are still not good enough. They still tell us that this is not really our country and all these different things. All I know is America. That's all I know. And for someone to sit back and tell me that this is not where I'm from, I'm like, no, this is where I'm from. Now, my ancestors, of course, they could be from somewhere, but to Grooming's point, and I understood exactly the conversation him and Mr. Bennett, and probably I had closed off after a little bit, but I heard a little bit of it. When we start getting rid of the statues and stop getting rid of doctrine and things like that to tell us what history was, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, it end up us not only repeating history, but we end up in the present really messing up, because we think it's one way, like slavery, for one thing. The majority of Americans, Black Americans, know nothing about what slavery actually did. They don't understand about Black people that own slaves and the strategy that they did to own slaves, and how they got to the point of having that type of power to even be able to own slaves, right? They don't know anything about that. They don't know how many, that it wasn't like 50% of the community of white folks that owned slaves. It was less than 8% that owned slaves. They don't know what certain people thought that slavery was necessary and the reason why slavery came about. They know nothing about it, indentured service and all these different things, and how it ended up being to a point of not us being slaves, but us being castrated, decapitated, hands cut off, and being tortured. Right. And it comes to the point that somebody already said it. When we were fighting back, when the revolt was on, it was on and popping. That was the reason why they had to do all of that. They was like, this motherfucker's too damn big. You're too tall. That's why they was like, nah, y'all can't be reading, because y'all gonna be learning the same shit we learn. That's just basically how it goes. I mean, it's a lot to it. But yeah, so we I'm gonna go ahead and land that, man, so we can go ahead and get on to the meat of the conversation, man.
All right, appreciate y'all for being here. Hey, listen, guys, hit that like button, subscribe button. Go ahead and put your comments in there. You got any questions or anything you want to ask, please put it in there, man. We'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. We got a panel full of men tonight. We also have the doctor in the building from our doctor's perspective. He'll come up after each section of what we are discussing to discuss it from a clinical perspective. So look forward to seeing him as he's traveling. He's going to come in and give us his perspective during the show as well. But I want to talk about something tonight. Hold
on, before you even get into it, Black
yes.
Man, I did want to mention one more thing before we get into it, which was so damn funny to me. I had to watch it like 10 times. The video you posted, and your daughter and your son was going back when they was playing that game. Your daughter said, she started out to say it because your booty smelled like, and y'all was like, wait a minute, stop. Man,
hey, bro,
y'all have to watch that video. That video was so funny.
Dude, that was in the old house. That was 2015, 2016.
Oh, that was so funny.
Time ago.
They would go.
My babies were so
son,
small.
Right?
They didn't grow up on me so quick.
Was it her and your son?
Yeah, that was my baby girl. Yeah, my son. Yeah, my baby boy. Yeah.
Man, that was. I said those moments, bro. That I'm like, that should go viral right there. That was the funniest thing I ever had.
Well, and that's not her twin brother, it's her baby brother, but she has a twin brother. And I remember when they were babies, I had them sitting in the they were playing around, so I sat them in the tub while I was sweeping the floor. And I told that's when Michael Jackson passed away, I think. And I said, hey, I said, y'all know Michael Jackson passed away, and both of them start crying and holding each other. That shit is hilarious. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna put it on one of my shorts. That man, I record everything my kids do.
That's dope, bro. I love that. I said, damn, they got some moments in that house. I already know,
man,
boy.
Absolutely, bro. There's never a dull moment over here.
You should see when the two boys start boxing each other. Like black man got the gloves on the boys' hands and everything, JT. And then the boys, you know what I'm saying? And then a little light skin it would have look just like BMU. It looks just like him. He's a mess. No, but I love it to death. Like he always gets the best of the other brother. And I was just like, good Lord.
And the other brother,
that is one.
Right.
That was one of the things. I say that to say this, man. Those are the things, man, that I swear to God, it will inspire people to have large families, man.
Yeah.
It inspire them because when you got a household like that, I'm telling you, and kids just keep you lively, man. And it's just always, they keep you working. But man, when I saw that, I had to laugh because I said, man, that was just crazy.
You know what? I was thinking about doing a challenge, just a family challenge just with them, because I'm gonna say this, then we move on. I have a video of my kids. That's when the commercials came out, when they said Nationwide is on your side, right? So they had broke one. Me and my wife was out of town, so they broke one of my wife's glasses off the table, and so they went glued it back together. And so my oldest daughter at the time, she did a video, and she said something about when you break your mom's glass and you cry and you choke, we get super glue and it's no longer broke. And all my kids, the rest of the kids behind the love seat and said, Nationwide is on your side. Well, that shit was, bro, I couldn't even be mad. Bro. But anyway, we move on to the show, man. Those some crazy kids, bro. I love my babies. So tonight's show, on they ask, men who face pushback for disciplining their children. Me and Mandrell used to talk about this a lot, about men going into families, creating their own families, and going into marrying a woman with children. And being able to discipline them, that's a big one, right? You're not going to come in hitting my child. My child was here before you was here. I got an opportunity this morning. I was headed to work listening to K104 here in Dallas, and they do something called the Mad Minute, where you call into the station, you say, I want to make my spouse mad. And if you make her mad, you get a certain amount of money or something like that, whatever. So the guy called and they said, how do you want to make your wife mad this morning? He said, I'm just going to tell her kid is soft. Her son is soft, which is not his kid. So he called. He said, baby, I want to talk. She said, hey, baby, good morning. Oh, my God, I'm glad you called me. He said, baby, I want to talk to you about something. Your son's soft. She said, well, my son's only 7 years old. He said, I don't care. He's soft. She said, no, he's not soft. He's 7 years old. He said, you baby him and you take your titty out of his mouth and he's soft. She said, no, he's not soft. And then he triggered her and said, your son is acting like he got a vajayjay and you're cleaning it. And when he said that, this is what she said. He won the money because he pissed her all the way. She said, well, what about your old ugly ass nappy head kids with that old bitch you got across town? They were ragged ass fucking kids. You got nappy head motherfuckers don't even get their hair combed. Don't brush their teeth. Them stinking musty motherfuckers coming over here. They need to get their fucking hair cut. Their mama fucking stank. You don't even know if them kids yours. Them ugly ass fucking bastards. Bro, he said, the lady said, wait, this the Mad Minute. And he said, and you know this gonna be an argument. He said, baby, that's how you really feel? And they cut both of them off the call. Now you know.
They say we gonna mail y'all the money. We gonna mail y'all more than what we said.
Bro,
we want y'all in the studio, JT.
She went.
They had him in the studio, JT.
Went in on his ass so bad, bro. Talking about his kids stank, they nappy headed, their mama a hole. Like, she just.
Well, they say those who tell the truth said babies, old people, and pissed off black women. So
yes.
In fact, JT, we gonna mail them their money cash.
And
They don't need to be in the bank. They don't need to be in the bank with that.
Babies, drunks, old people, and kicked off black.
I don't even want to write it off.
We gonna mail you your money cash.
So I said all that to say this. Ricky Smiley, everybody know who's Ricky Smiley. He's a comedian. Ricky Smiley is raising his grandson. His grandson is with him while his mother pursues college and all that stuff. So he's raising his grandson. And a lot of people had a lot of flack for Ricky for how he raising his grandson, how he talked to him, how he make him do chores, things of that nature. And I want to play this video. We're going to break this video down of Ricky Smiley responding to these women in real time about how he's raising his son, because he does a lot of videos of him and his grandson hanging out together and stuff like that. And the black women came for him. They came for him really bad. So I want to play it, and we'll break it down, and then we'll bring the doc up after each segment. All right, here we go. Let me play it for you guys. Right.
Come on, man. All you gotta do is be smart in your equipment, man. StreamYard ain't that hard, big man.
No, I was trying to get it where you can see it, the steps to it.
Oh, really? You lucky I'm sick.
They see you on the line, so okay, got it. Yeah, hope everybody having a blessed day, all of y'all. Let me go through something right quick. So I make these little videos with my grandson, because people be like, hey man, make some videos of Grayson, man. I love you and your grandson. I love watching you and your grandson together. So this lady comes on here on my
Facebook on y'all
page
side?
and said that she don't like the way that I talk to my grandson.
I'm gonna get to the first part because it's real choppy. I don't know why. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'll try to fix it in the back and bring it back up, guys.
It's crazy when people are so retarded when they see you on live. I guess they feel it's okay to call you right then, because.
Yeah, I'll fix it. But anyway, so the beginning of the video, he's talking about how they're talking about his son, grandson, Grayson, and how horrible he is. Like, he makes him do chores. And the women are saying no boy should be doing chores at that age.
At what age?
I think he's 5 or 6, 5, maybe 6.
That's when you start teaching
5 or 6, something like that.
That's when you start teaching them, though.
Yeah, they should. He said that the women are going. I mean, when I tell you they're going in on his ass.
Here's the thing: in 3 or 4 years, that boy gonna be cooking bacon and eggs.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He need to learn how to clean up now.
Exactly, bro.
I mean, what do they think we did when we was growing up? 5 years old, yeah, you at least learn how to clean your room, if nothing else. You learn how to fold up clothes. You learn how to fold up clothes. Yeah, you're washing dishes, exactly. I mean, you was folding up clothes. You know how to clean your room. Like, that was the number one rule thing you learned. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think I was much older than that kid. I mean, how old was I when I started cutting grass? I wasn't too much older than that.
I was walking to school at 5.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you're right.
I was walking to school at 5.
So let me know if y'all can hear.
It's crazy when people so retarded when they see you on live. I guess they feel it's okay to call you right then because they see you on the live. So, okay, got it. Yeah, hope everybody having a blessed day, all of y'all. Let me go through something right quick. So, I make these little videos with my grandson, because people be like, hey man, make some videos of Grayson, man. I love you and your grandson. I love watching you and your grandson together. So this lady comes on here on my Facebook page and said that she don't like the way that I talk to my grandson. I can't watch it. I can't take it. because you talk so heavy to your grandson, you know, and it's sad how you demean him and degrade him and all of that stuff, and you know, just got a whole lot of stuff to say. Now, mind you, she probably ain't, mind you, all these people, Camille Y. Wilkerson, she pointed out some things and said that she just can't watch the video because she think I talk real crazy to my to my grandson, and I'm mean to him, and she said that I demean him. And then Laurie Wolf came on and said, thank you, Camille Wilkerson, and thank you for pointing that out, the treatment of the child versus how he was cooking, way more important. And then Kelly Dixon came on and said, agreed fully, he's nasty too, and about his boy, which I am. Yeah, I get real nasty about it because just like I said, it ain't a woman on this earth can come on here and tell me how to raise a man, because you're not a man. Now, I don't mind nobody making a suggestion. Like I said before, I'm cool with you making a suggestion, but you don't run shit in this house. And I mean that. And then Jenny, Geannie Hudspeth said, you sure said that right, 100. It broke my heart when this little guy was back there sitting at the table. And what they talking about is my little grandson sitting at the table, at the kids' table, because he's too small to sit up at the counter. I sit him at the table, so it's easy to clean up over there because he's 3 years old. And, you know, and he don't make no mess. And Malik ate over there. Brandon ate over there, and every kid in this house ate at the kids' table. Then that's Jeannie Huff said, you sure said that right, 100. It broke my heart when I saw him sitting at the table. And then Eliza, whatever her last name, I can't pronounce it, said, well, then stop watching the videos then. Let me explain something. One of the greatest things that my granddaddy did, God rest his soul. One time my grandmama took me to football practice. I was playing Little League football, excuse the bump or whatever. My grandma got mad and went on the field, and my granddaddy went and grabbed my grandmama and said, let me tell you something. You don't go out there and you don't say nothing to that coach. That coach, Coach Osley, took his foot and kicked me in my ass for being sorry. He said, that was chicken shit. Get your ass up and run the play again. And you know what it did? It made me tough. It made me the man that I am today. You understand? And I don't understand. I don't know what it is with this generation or whatever. Let me tell you something. I'm going to show you something. Come on, go with me. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to point out.
There's no challenge for the kids to conquer.
I'm going to pause it right there so we can discuss it. Go ahead, Mandra, and we'll go around the room. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I got to drop off. But okay. I'll just say this one because there's no challenge for the children to conquer. Men need
Somebody's echoing.
Yeah, everybody mute up and see if that kid's here. I don't think it's me. Hell, it may be. But anyway,
is it still echoing?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It got a little bit better.
Is it a bit better? Okay, because Mandra bought the mic.
Mute yours as well. Let's see. Yeah. Check. Yep, it's probably me then. I don't know why. But I'll just say this. Hopefully, I can make it out. But there's no challenge. Exactly. All the money I pay for this internet.
Off the folding chairs instead of the Wi-Fi package.
I know, right?
It's a national problem, bro.
So there's no challenge for the kids to conquer anymore. Everyone gets a trophy, 19th place and all that. You know, the women don't want the boys to fall down the street to me. They want to do their hair like they do a girl's hair and teach the boy, don't worry about what everybody's saying. Don't worry about them, just ignore them. She's not teaching them to punch those boys in the mouth and talk shit about it, which is what she should do. Teach the boy to take up for himself. But I mean, she didn't know what kind of trauma, how that trauma is going to affect him later on down the line, of him just taking, shot after shot after shot, joke after joke. I mean, it's just, listen, when men are raising their kids, ladies, stay clear out the way. You ain't got the stomach for it. You can't raise boys to be men, ladies. You can't. Only a man can do that. And it takes this kind of stuff to forge men. Men have to be forged. Leaders have to be made. You know, that's the way it is. You might not like it, but that's the way it is. The thing is, my mother and our mother's generation, they didn't complain because they knew how the sausage was made. They just scared the sausage tastes good. I don't care how you make it, just get it done. That was the sentimentality. Now you want to be all involved in how a man does his job when you have no clue nor any frame of reference, because everything out of your mouth is men ain't shit. All men ain't shit. Well, if we ain't shit, then how do you know? How do you know how to turn a boy into a man? You don't know what a man is. Clearly, you never met one. You know, the only frame of reference you got is the piece of trash that you laid down with. The dude probably wasn't even trash. Problem was probably you. So, ladies, when men are raising up boys, anything short of abuse, stay out of it. It might not look good to you, but that's what it takes. That's the way the world is. And I make no apologies for what I'm saying tonight. It's a fucking fact. I'll name my plane there. Black Man Unfiltered, thank you for having me tonight. I've got to run.
All right.
I'll try to make it more of these. What's up?
This barbershop talk, so I want to tell you this because you're a man to man. If it stink, don't eat it.
Yeah, no shit. I had uncles to tell me that, okay? I didn't need to do that. I know what uncles was telling me stuff like that.
Oh, my God. Now, easy money,
don't get that on you.
Easy money to eat it even if it stink. But I'm telling you, if it stink, don't eat the right Easy Money. Look at Easy Money. Easy Money said, I'll eat that motherfucker up. Listen.
Look at Illuminated.
Don't eat it. You understand?
Look at my man Illuminated. Man, look.
Hey,
it's always black man. It's always BMU, always coming up here with this mess. He just can't never keep it civil, man. I know it's barbershop talk, but my goodness.
Now Illuminated. You told me the same thing. I'm just repeating what you told me.
See, now you're lying. You just straight up lying. We're gonna bring now. That's all right. We're gonna bring congregation. That's okay.
Remember that night, Illuminated? Right. You said, remember that night the strippers you had brought the strippers.
No, see. Mr. Bennett, you're the only one that can control this dude, man. Get this dude.
You remember strawberry licorice?
You know, man, oh God. 313, do something with your boy, man.
I'm sorry. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything on what Ricky said, man?
All right, fellas, y'all take it easy. Have a good night.
All right, man. Have a good one. Yep.
I can jump in real quick. I think he's right on, man. He's spot on. I hear that go myself. Somebody got it. But anyway, I mean, I think that's how kids are supposed to be raised. You have to make sure you do what is best for your family. But once you put things on social media, the kind of replies and it should be expected. Because when you open your family up to scrutiny of people who actually don't have any discipline or any kind of stuff in their lives, everybody has an opinion. And the people with the worst opinions have the loudest voices. So as long as you know how to deal with that and don't let it overtake what you're doing. Now, there's nothing wrong with what he did to his 3-year-old. And if we ever get back into this conversation, I mean, I have daughters. I have to worry about sons. But I know there's no equivalency there. You can't raise girls like we raise boys. Right? And I knew that much, because I had enough cousins in my family who needed more discipline. I got my little bit of discipline, but I was a decent kid. But so I'll handle it. I don't want to just keep going on, but I had some experience, and when I had to get tough with my daughters, I never really hit them, because, and this, I really thought about this. I didn't want them to get hit physically by somebody who's supposed to love them. I didn't want to be the guy to put that in their head that a man could hit you and say he loves you at the same time. So I had to always be more cerebral with my kids. But and I didn't mind doing that because they were pretty good. So I didn't have a real tough time with my girls. So, but if I had a boy, I know every so often with the boys, you got to brace that son of a bitch, or else he'll take his bad habits to the street and somebody will beat the shit out of him without loving. You know, so let me land it there.
All right, I think we got the echo took care of, guys. It's gone.
Yeah,
right?
It's gone. It's gone.
It's good.
All right, guys. So thank you, Von Brian. Thank you so much. Thank you. So anybody else want to say anything about what Ricky said so far? Ricky said, yeah, go ahead.
I want to go to Till when he gets a second.
Yeah, so just real quick, I don't actually have an issue with anything that he said in the video. Like, you know, like if
we paused it halfway. He got some more, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, for him to put his grandson at the kiddie table, that makes sense. You know, it's not and I understand the other side of it to where it's like it's isolation and all that, but like we really got to be more. We got to be more thoughtful in when we're seeing things that maybe we didn't see or maybe that we don't agree with. And in that particular case, I don't think him putting his grandson at the kiddie table is any issue. I don't even think talking tough to your grandson or your son is really an issue. I've got 3 boys, 10, 8, and 7. And my boys are doing chores already. My oldest takes out the trash. All 3 of them are responsible for cleaning their rooms. I have them clean up the living room and the downstairs in an effort to earn their electronics. So, you know, my kids have some semblance of structure and routine that's built in. And that's just a part of making them responsible people. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of that.
And it's a rite of passage, man. It's like it. I know when I started, it was just funny because I was always looking at the older folks cleaning and you know, making sure things was together and all that. And once I remember when my mother and my father both started saying, no, it's time for you to start getting some type of responsibility. And I was very young. And I wanted to do it. When it came down to cleaning my room, I from the time that I can remember of having my own room, it was just my responsibility. I can't remember one time when I've seen my mother or my father come and make my bed up. I've always made up my bed. I've always made sure my stuff was in the laundry. I also I made sure that the dust was off my off my dresser. And it was just a lot of things. And I was the only child for 8 years. So, and then when my brother when he came, I actually helped take care of him. And I wanted to do it though. I was left at home at 8 by myself at 8. I had a key. I had this little thing I had to put around my neck with the key around it.
With instructions. I don't want nobody in my house while I'm not here.
I had all the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 white people on one side, and I had another white man, which, by the way, was racist, but he loved me and my brother. And him and my father, they were like George Jefferson and Archie Bunker. They used each other because they both were great utilities to each other. But the initial part, they didn't like each other. My father used to always call him a hunky, and he used to always call my father, well, he didn't use the word nigga.
I know that's right.
But I'm pretty sure he probably did it to somebody else, said when he was talking about my father. My father was just one of those guys that you either going to love him or you're going to hate him, you know. And, I mean, as time went on, my parents, they actually built, they kind of like built a surrounding where I always felt safe. And I wasn't in the greatest neighborhood. It wasn't a terrible neighborhood. It's terrible now, but it wasn't at that time. And to make a long story short, my father had a landscaping business. I started working with him when I was 8. I wanted to do that. My mother used to be a master merchant, and she was a district manager of Church's Chicken. She had 30 stores. Oh, wow. And there was times that I used to go with her, and I worked with her. Then she eventually went and started working for Usher and Usher, not Usher, like it's OSHA.
Oh, come on now, JT.
Not
Talk to
Usher.
me now.
OSHA. I knew y'all was gonna go, but she
Oh,
started
shut
working for
down.
that, and she was, like a dietitian and things like that. And I just remember going to their jobs and helping them work. My father had his own business. He used to be a cab driver. He had a landscaping business. So we and everything else, I did everything short of him helping him sell his weed. But by the time I was 16 years old, I had 2 jobs. 2. Not because I had to have them. It was just for the simple fact that it was things that I wanted in life. So I had to do what it took to get it. They didn't force me to get a job. They didn't force me to. They were more concerned about me getting the best education I can and either go to college, military, get my own business, whatever it was. So by the time I was 16 and my brother, we ended up being a little more, when it came down to accountable and responsible for our own lives. So by the time we got 20, everything that we was going through, man, it wasn't easy, but we were equipped. And to this day, so what Ricky did with what he's doing with, now understand, this is the 3rd generation that he's has taken care of. This man has been taking care of kids ever since he was 20 years old. So you talking about somebody that's pretty proficient, what I'm saying, when it comes down. Like when he was saying all the kids that sat at that table, they're now grown. That's what he was just telling people. Those kids are now grown. So whatever those ladies have to say, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you look at their life and you probably look at those kids, the chances of those kids having some messed up shit going on in their life is pretty high. Pretty high.
And so grooming and reviews, then Hank jump in there, and then the rest of you. Anybody else want to jump in? We'll play the rest of the video.
All right. Couple things. One, I think most of these kids are pussies these days, to be straight up. Yeah. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna straight how it is. I'm gonna give you an example of why I say that. When I was still teaching martial arts, one of my kids got hit in a solar plex. If you ever got hit in a solar plex, you know that fucking sucks. He dropped down on a bad sack of tomatoes. He's crying, and his mother's running like, "You're not running in. He's going to get up. He's going to get back fighting. Till he starts crying, he's going to sit there and cry." His father came down. A whole issue. They're like, "You want me to learn how to fight, or you want me to learn how to cry? You pick one. I'm not here to teach him how to cry." My point trying to get there is, if we don't treat our boys a little tough love, it's nothing gonna happen. And what really annoys me when you give these kids also this award just for showing up, like you're making them worse now. Like, okay, you're already a pussy. Here's make you even more pussier. May add a little more honey on that shit too. It just, you're not helping the situation. I love how they talk back when you yell at them. Like, then they like, "You're yelling at me." I'm like, yeah, because you're out of line. You don't know any respect. Get in line and learn respect. When an elder's talking, you shut the fuck up and you listen. But they don't even know how to do that anymore.
Yeah, because I'm gonna let you jump in here. But I will say, even coaching football is like that. When the kids get tired, when we say give them water, it's mother. Let me tell you how ignorant some of these women are. They running out on the field with Coca-Cola, Pepsi. After plays, trying to give it to the boys. I said, if you don't get your ass back on that damn, and my wife said, you can't talk to them like they their parents. You can't talk to them. Like, get your ass back over. You're not going to give him no damn Coke in the middle of a fucking football game. Are you crazy? And I'm asking them, what y'all ate this morning? Donuts, Pop-Tart. I said, oh my God, bro. Y'all finna be throwing up. I mean, it's just, so if you don't know that, just sit down. I got a clip shell in a minute after Hank, but Hank, go ahead and get yours out, bro. I understand, Roman. I understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have no problem with how he's raising this. Oh, I haven't seen a video of him actually doing anything, but I don't have no problem with sounds like what he's doing so far. I don't see an issue with it. I mean, look, my son's been cutting grass ever since he could see over the lawnmower.
Damn right.
So once he could see over the lawnmower, I let him go. Now I start him off just cutting, like, say, the front yard. because that was the smallest part of the house, and I would cut the back, and then the next year he's cutting the whole yard. By the age of 10, he's weed eating. So now he was doing everything. It wasn't a thing he didn't do. Now, unfortunate for him, once his sisters moved out completely and they was done with coming back and moving out, everything was on him. He had to fold clothes. He had to wash dishes. I don't believe in using a dishwasher because he is a dishwasher. He had to cut the grass, to make sure that room clean. You maintain that 3.0 or higher. Yeah, the expectations were high. But, taught him how to wash his clothes, separate the clothes. Don't wash towels with clothes, wash towels and wash clothes by themselves. Yeah. All of it, he had to learn because, you're not going to come out, move out and have a woman right then and there to do all those things for you. So you got to maintain yourself. When you're in college, you got to maintain all that yourself. You got to learn how to cook. So you might want to have all that done, learn how to do it before you get over there. Because I'm definitely not going to be riding over or filling up your card so you can eat out every goddamn day. No, we're not doing that. So you better learn how to, burn. You got to do something.
Man, you know what, Hank, man, knowing how to cook is such a flex.
That's the case.
If you know how to cook as a guy, coming up, man, it was such a flex with the women, man.
Absolutely.
They loved the guy who knew how to cook, man. Shit.
Oh, man, yeah, man. You ain't got to do nothing extravagant as long as you can just do a simple shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, 1 or 2 good dishes, you good.
That's it.
But those are things that you had to learn this. So I didn't have a problem. Like I said, Rick Smiley, how he's doing it, what he's doing. You have to do what you got to do, man. Again, like I said, eventually you want to do your own thing and grow up to be a young man, a productive young man, and that's the way you're doing it. Teaching responsibilities and accountability and all those good things. Those are old-fashioned lessons I believe every child should be learning, especially our young boys. So.
All right. So what I want to do now, I want to play the second half of it, just let it finish, and then we'll come back and have the rest of the conversation, guys. Let me play it real quick. Everybody mute up for me if you don't mind, because I want the echo to haunt us again.
Out something to you, because I'm willing to bet you ain't went to not one deadbeat's dad's page. Anybody that don't take care of their kids, you're not on their page, but you love to come on somebody's page that raised a bunch of kids and try to antagonize them or whatever. But you don't get to tell a man how to raise a child. I'm good at raising kids. I got nieces and nephews. I'm gonna take you down here. I'm gonna take you down here and show you the degree wall. See this right here. I'm all about education. She got 1 spanking her whole life. That's my oldest daughter. See, I done raised a lot of kids. I done took kids in or whatever. I got 3 college athletes raised in this house. 2 basketball and right here football. See this right here? See, I done took kids in that didn't have a father, and raised kids in this house. You see this right here? See that? See, that's all of them when they were small. See? Hey. Every last one of them raised in this house. 1 football, Middle Tennessee State University. Basketball, Alabama State University. Basketball, Miles College. You understand? Baylor University. Tennessee State University. Executive chef. You understand? That's Grayson's mom. See, I done raised too many. For any woman, anybody of the opposite sex can come on here and tell me what to do and tell me how to raise kids. You understand? Now, if you want to antagonize somebody, the names that I just called, I want you to go and find deadbeat dads who don't spend time with their kids, right? See, you see this right here? This the degree wall. See, this the education. You see this right here? Clark Atlanta University. You understand what I'm saying? You see that right there? Miles College. You see that right there? The University of Texas. Doctor, Health Science Center at Houston. Nicole Deuce, Doctor of Optometry. You don't ever get to come on here and tell me how to motherfucking raise kids. I send them all to college. I bust my ass. I get my ass up on stage in them comedy clubs and perform all night to pay tuition, be on the phones all day with the financial aid office and all that stuff. That's one of the problems. You understand? Because you will not emasculate me or make me feel bad for talking crazy to Grayson. I ain't studying Grayson little ass. I don't care nothing about no cuteness and no curly hair. That don't faze me. I'm just, you know, all of it cute, but I don't get excited about that and gonna baby him because he got his little eyebrows cute and his hair curly. All that ain't about shit. Wait till he turn 15, 16, 17 when his character start to develop. That's what it's all about. I had a lot of nieces and nephews come in this house, and them ain't even all of the degrees that's on the wall of people that I educated. I got a little cousin that trained teachers in Savannah, Georgia. I bought her first car, educated her. I got a damn school teacher, got a master's degree, in English. That's a high school teacher in Atlanta that was raised in this house. I done raised most of my nieces and nephews and educated all of them. So damn Grayson, I sit his left, I say, get your little ass at the table. See, one thing about it, when my grandson, when the basketball coach get in his face, or the football coach get in his face, or his job get in his face, hey, you ain't doing that right, or whatever, it ain't gonna faze him, because he ain't sensitive like some of these little punks around here now. If you say anything to him, everybody in their feelings. Everybody crying. Oh, you didn't have to talk to him like that. You didn't have to speak to him like that. Man, I love the way my granddaddy raised me. My grandmama, like, I didn't even know my name was Ricky Smiley. Because my grandma always called me a long, keen, narrow-faced bastard. I thought my name was, come here, you old bastard, you. And it was funny to me. That's why I love Opie. That's why I go down Miss Janie's house and get cussed out. Miss Janie don't hurt my feelings. Every time old people or anybody be cussing and just going off about something, that shit funny to me because my grandmama talk heavy to me like that. You understand? My granddad talk crazy to me like that my whole life. You understand?
Yep, you muted.
All right, man.
Whew.
Man.
I didn't even see the video, bro. And what did I say? That man
Ricky
has.
Said, you can't tell me shit.
That man is proficient in what he do. He got the baccalaureates and everything.
He got the receipts,
to prove
bro.
it. He got the receipts.
And you know what? He used to have a reality show. And I remember one of the episodes, they called him and told his oldest daughter, the one he said he did one spanking.
Yeah.
They said your daughter got pulled over and arrested, DUI. He went down to the school and sat her down, and he said, let me tell you something. If I get one more call, I'm going to take my fucking car back I bought you. I'm not paying your rent. I'm not paying no more tuition. You have to figure that shit out.
You're going to figure it out on your own.
And he said, if you can't go to a party without drinking, he said, matter of fact, don't go to no more parties until you graduate. He said, if I catch your ass at a party, I'm cutting your ass off.
What about the son he had that was mad at him, right? The media try to make this shit out to be some out crazy and outlandish ass shit. The thing is that, that's what I really felt for Ricky, because I mean, let's face it, he's a star also. But if anybody ever even been in the presence of Ricky and people that's in the circle, I have. Atlanta, Georgia, I remember being around that man for at least about a week. And this is before he is who he is right now.
Right.
This guy was doing so much then, especially when it came down to that comedy. That's where I knew him from, the whole comedy thing. I was a DJ, so I seen how he was talking with the promoters and stuff like that. But my point is that when you got somebody, when you have a man that has the type of love that he had for people, just people, man, I've yet to have heard anybody say that Ricky Smiley is not a very generous guy. He stands on his ground. He know how to say no, but he's very generous, you know, to the people that he loves. When you got women that are like that, what did he say? His grandma used to, the way that she used to talk to him, and it didn't phase him, right?
Yeah, you long, narrow-faced bastard.
Right. And it come down, and that's funny that that's one of the reasons why I brought up that whole thing with the video with you. And I can just imagine, you know, how that built you into the man that you are now. Because you still fairly young, bro.
Right.
You fairly young. And to have the type of love that you have, and it shows into the people that you deal with. So I can just imagine how your household is, bro. I really got to commend you because you got that spirit. That Ricky Smiley spirit, you got that spirit, bro.
I do.
And one of the things that we can't know, and just to hear somebody say that Ricky Smiley should be ashamed of himself on how he treat that young man. Come on, man. Listen, we are harsh people when it comes down to your sensibilities. I'm talking about men. We're going to hurt your goddamn feelings at some point in your life. You're going to get your feelings hurt by us.
Yep.
That's about as far as that go, but that's because we are your protectors.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, we should not expect less from you. But I think, in my opinion, man, that men are very gentle when it comes down to their children, when it comes down to their women. Most men are very, this is, you know, when you hear that whole simp, that's why I'm like, man, I'm not trying to hear that simp shit. We got it. We just got to learn how to balance our shit. You know what I'm saying? We're some harsh people, man. I love hearing how you brothers talk here. That's why when you have barbershop and things like that, it shows how faceted, how you know, the different sides that we have to ourselves. And at the end of the day, we are, in my opinion, the protectors.
Right.
But
and
we
I
can't
remember one
protect the
time,
unprotectable.
right? And I remember one time somebody said something to me personally about my son, JJ. He's in here right now in the recliner. Knock the hell out. That's Mandrill homeboy right there. But anyway, my son playing football, when he first started playing, he was a hard hitter, and he hit a guy. He hit one of the kids, bam, knocked him down. And the teammate come over and stomped my son's head while he was on the ground. My son got frustrated. He punched the ground, and I seen them tears drop. I said, "Oh no, sir, no, sir, no, sir. That's not what we do. No, sir. We're not going to sit here and be crying and be no, sir." The next play, all I'm gonna say is, hey, I gotta talk to my boy. He's like a dad. The next play, he got kicked out the game. It was bad. Not in a way like that, but it was bad because him and the boy went at it for probably that entire series, where he kept every time the ball with my son didn't care where the ball was. He went to go get it. And I said, "Son, you got to focus on the ball." He said he in front of it. You know, and it made him tougher, right? It made, and one of the ladies was like, "Why are you yelling at him? It don't even take all that. Y'all do too damn much. Y'all do too damn." That's why I want my son out here. This is my son's last game. Because y'all not finna be hollering at my son like that. Hell no. My son got a mama. If anybody gonna holler at me, it's gonna be me. Ain't gonna be no coaches screaming and hollering at my son. And I wanted to say, man, well, your son is the softest motherfucker on this team. If we want to be real about it, your son is very soft. Cottonelle. He's soft as shit. You pluck him, he crying. "Oh my God, mommy! What the fuck? That's your son." Right? And every day I had my son, I got so many videos. Every day I had my son go head up with him. I told whispered in my son's ear, "Knock his dick in the dirt." Huh? Boom! We're gonna hit him until he shut up. You know, and at the end of the year, he got a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. He stopped crying. He started getting more aggressive and getting angry. Then him and my son had a fist fight. I said, "Oh, this is lovely. Let's keep it going, son." You know, and his mama said over there, "I don't care. And don't bring no Pepsi out here." But anyway, Mr. Bennett, what are your thoughts?
Well, I kind of certainly agree with a lot of guys here. I guess my approach, maybe a little bit more nuanced. It's not funny because I was watching Fences with Denzel Washington the other night. And it messed with me a lot because, I understand the idea. Yes, you have to have tough love towards your kids, and, especially if you have sons and whatnot. But you saw at the end of the movie, the son was really no better off. I think you still have to have the ability to certainly read what works and what doesn't. And that whole tough, get in your face, cussing you out sort of thing doesn't work on every kid. So I think you have to have some sense that just because you were raised that way, it doesn't necessarily is going to impact. Our prisons are full of dudes who had the tough love, who had the spank, got beat every day, all that kind of stuff, and they still turned out, just the way they're going to turn out. So I think we need a little bit of nuance in terms of how we approach this. And just me personally, look, I don't curse, I don't swear, and I've never swore in front of my kids. So I never, if I'm going to say, I'm going to swear at my young kid so that he'll know how to take coaching from a coach who may be swearing at him later on, that was never going to be that was just never going to be how I did it. But I definitely believe in discipline. I definitely believe in work. And I think certainly for boys as able as they are to work, I think they should. What I'm seeing, the unfortunate thing, I think what a lot of fathers are doing these days is they're not necessarily making them soft, but they're not giving them the discipline. I see so many dudes raising their kids in sports, even though sports can be a major teaching tool for them, but these kids don't have jobs. Like when I remember, like very similar to JT, as soon as I was able to get a job, I had multiple jobs. I was just all about making that money. And so like JT, I was kind of very self-motivated that way. But you see so many guys, they don't let their kids shovel. So I mean, a friend of mine, it was like, we had a big one of those 2-foot snowstorms or whatever, and he was calling around looking for guys to come dig them out. And I said, well, you got two boys at home, 8, 12, 10 and 12 or whatever. And it's like, no, I don't want them breaking their backs. It's like, what are you talking about? So I definitely agree that, the physical work is valuable. Being able to work for somebody, to work in an environment where you have to take orders and instructions, I think that's important. Having discipline in your house, is that important? Do I need to cuss them out? I don't necessarily think that's necessary, but certainly if your argument is, well, they're going to see that from coaches and they're going to see that in how they handle situations, whatnot, how to handle some of that. Should that become from you? That's where I kind of struggle a little bit. But not every kid with that quote unquote tough love is necessarily going to, you're going to get the result. People are bent to where they're bent. And so, try to use a little wisdom with that tough love. And again, accompany that tough love with some especially as they get older. It's like, look, son, it's okay to pull your son over to the side and say, this is why I'm doing this. Or this is why I had to, get on you about something. Again, the discipline, there should always be a conversation that comes after. You may, spank your kid, but it's okay to go back later on and explain to him why you did it and why it was necessary and why, let's see if we can't make this happen again. But you just trying to be the tough guy. I don't think that works in all situations. So I salute to Smiley for certainly the, being able to take on the responsibilities. I think for the women who were criticized, again, though, that's just the folks in the bleachers. I don't care about that so much. What I would care about more so is if it was your spouse. And I've seen situations where if your wife and you are not on the same page when it comes to discipline, that can certainly be a major problem. And I think you guys have to definitely come to terms before you bring kids into this world. What is your approach is going to be? And I think you need both energies. I think you need the nurturing. I think that generally, typically, the mother gives that nurturing side and the father gives that preparation side. Someone told me a long time ago, in terms of what defines a mother and a father. Okay, mothers protect, but fathers prepare. And so looking at the example of, let's say if your 4-year-old kid, he's on the swing at the park or whatever, and he falls off. The mom's nature is to go over and pick up the kid and make sure he's not hurt and wipe him off or whatever. Father'd be like, no, get back on the swing. Because I don't want you developing a fear of getting on that swing again. Who's right? They're both right. A lot of times it's just the timing of when these things occur. So again, that's why, again, when you get to certain ages, if you look at other groups like the Jews, for example, they have that right size, that bar mitzvah, your life changes like when you come 13, you become man. So that preparation for manhood starts at that age, maybe not at 6 or 5, but there is a time when it comes place. So as long as you have that understanding that you're going to be grooming a person for that adulthood at some point, whether it happens in their teen years or preteens or wherever you started, be consistent with it. Have certainly this consistent voice in your house that this is what's going to go down, and then follow it through. But a cursing at a 3-year-old, I'm not necessarily with that. But again, that's who he is, and that's how he talks or whatever. That's just his situation. And like he said, he certainly has the fruit on the tree. But I don't think you necessarily have to go to those measures to starting that early with your kids. But that's just me personally. But again, I don't swear or curse, so that's something that's not going to I'm not going to necessarily co-sign on. But to each his own in that particular matter. But you got to be able, even as a man, you got to be able to show both. Guy gets, you get on the kid in practice or whatever, but after practice or whatever, pull that kid into your office. Be like, oh, let's sit down, let's talk.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well,
So,
let me say this too. Like what we because I think when we grew up as millennials, because I'm a millennial, and when we grew up, you had to be tough. Like, man, you had no time to cry. You had no time to be out there bitching and complaining about nothing, right? Because back in the day, the coaches had permission to knock your ass out. And I remember times when my coach would three-piece me, or he would grab you by the neck or something because he knew that you weren't doing what you're supposed to do. And I think today these kids, I think they're coming out, and the parents have this mentality where I don't want my kid to be raised like I was, so they spoil them, and that's why these little boys are greedy. That's why Deion Sanders had 32 kids go to the damn portal because some of the kids are complaining. Man, we can't listen to music. We can't wear our earrings in our ear. We can't dress the way we want to dress. No, Deion Sanders said, hell no. You're going to dress in Colorado gear every goddamn day. You're going to be in uniform. You're going to be in uniformity. You better find you something that have Colorado on it and wear it. You're not wearing no earrings.
You better develop.
Right.
Develop a pride.
In your ear.
Develop
you're not going to
pride.
be listening to no music with no cussing in it around me. And you're not going to be in the practice room with it. You're not going to be in the film room with it. If you are, you out of here. Right? And even Nick Saban, hop on the other side of the pole. Nick Saban, well, man, listen, these boys today, they're not ready for Nick. I'm telling you that now. Nick will go, man, look. Nick will cuss their ass smooth out.
Right. Well, they need that now, man. But I definitely agree with Mr. Bennett when it comes down to
let's get into Dr.
balance.
He on the road. He got 8 more hours to
drive. Oh, yeah.
What's
up, Doc?
He pulled over to say something. Let's get him in here first. But, he I got to give him his intro before he come out the back cave.
With Dr. Nakumbe.
Them chairs look so uncomfortable. They was looking nice, but uncomfortable. Where did Doc go? Did he disappear?
Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Oh, no, he in a bad area, y'all. Well, he'll be back.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting on him, the reason that I say men have to be much harder on their sons is because of stuff like this. I want y'all to see this mama. This boy, it's the first day of school. And this is mom. We'll talk about this after Dr. Nakumbe come up, but he just came back in. But this is mom on the first day of school. Look at this bullshit.
That's her man.
That was a boy?
That was a little boy.
That she made him her man.
I seen security boss had it on, send it to me. And I said, wait a damn, that's
Black
her
man,
son?
what did I just watch?
That was her son.
Hey, that was social.
That looked like something off of
that was
Black man, that looked like something off of Tubi.
Perverted.
That was assault.
That looked like a Tubi movie, man.
Yes, she made him her man.
Oh my gosh.
When the hell did Free Willy come at your show?
That was incest.
Yeah, it was.
That was.
That was.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
Get ready. Lost in translation. Turn your mic on. Ladies and gentlemen, in the building right now.
Good evening. What's up, JT? What's up, family? Good to see everyone again.
What's up, Doc? God damn it.
Did he fall off, man?
No, I'm here. What's up,
They
JT? Yeah. Can you guys hear me clearly, though?
Yeah.
We got you.
All right, good. Thank you. All right, JT and crew, good to see you guys. I just have 3 things for us to consider as I was listening to the videos. And it's not like this with every family. It's two different scenarios, 3 different competing factors. So, even when we show pictures of his green wall, Ricky Smiley's green wall, he's showing the pictures of the kids and stuff. But the kid's perspective of the way they receive a parent compared to your snuggle, your boo. even your parents' perspective of how they perceive you as an adult is different than your boo. You know, like if you ever talk to your parents about like final days, or you know, if ever I'm in a hospital, and you know, you have that real technical talk, but when you talk to your boo, you know, you're like, they're old. You know what to do if something happens, right? So they know you on a way more personal level, in a deeper level than the kids will. So if you've ever said to your partner, I'll kill for mine, or let someone mess with them, or I can't let this kid fail, the partner, your wife or girlfriend, they know the passion behind your words. And then they also understand your capabilities. Doesn't mean you will hurt them, but they're judging it based on if you go to the max with your best intentions, you can cause harm. Now, I'm talking about the average parent, not the soft parent who's like, no, 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 no. Now, the mother is also two different scenarios. One mother who you're with and one mother you're not. The mother you're not with, what I hear most from those families is that she's concerned that the father's going to pump all this into him and then abandon the kid. You're doing too much. It's almost like you're doing like the concentrated version. What are you talking about? He needs to toughen up. But the mothers who are not with the father, the most of those complaints I hear is they're concerned, like, well, he's not going to be there if the kid gets hurt. He's not going to be there if I have to go to the hospital at 2 a.m. He's not there to hear the kid cry in the middle. Mom, Dad was, and I have to remind those moms, the third perspective, the third party in this competing. I have to remind those moms, those kids sometimes take advantage of that because you're that nurturer, you're the soft one. That's venting, and you have to know the difference. I implore each mom to know the difference between venting and really being hurt. And then on top of that, the full circle of encouraging, even if you have to coach the kid on how to go back to dad to have that conversation. Dad, those chest things, man, like that really hurt, like really, really, like I was up to 3 a.m. Or Dad, you scared me. Because if the son or daughter or kid knows that they can always run to you with the sob story, you're actually reinforcing it and is not helping, is adding to the problem. And then the dad side of it, and any father here, if you think about what do we say? Our kid is going to have better than we have. So we don't see, like if you look in the mirror, we see ourselves, but we really don't always see the amount of passion or whatever that we bring, the expectation for the kid not to fail. And so even when we listen, like when I listen to JT was talking about BMU, you're that dude, you're that guy for your kid. I mean, think about the level of passion that we hear BMU talk about it, right? And we've all said, like right here, man, I wish somebody. So we know we're just talking, but from when a kid hears that, and we don't always say that to the kid, but you have to just think about it perspective. So you combine all those three. So you have a kid who's whining to mom and mom is catering to that. And then they keep enforcing and hoping to get out of it, especially if you have a lazy kid. And then you have a kid who does not want to disappoint the parent. There's a hidden fear that the kids don't talk about, but to mom, they will, about not wanting to disappoint dad. And I'm scared. So then they take that on. So my final is any mother out there, any other parent, because we're talking about mothers, grandmothers, aunties. There's not always a woman, but just usually a female. So my invite is to think about this. When it comes time to getting up at 2 a.m. because there's a noise downstairs, you don't govern that or meter that, do you? We don't meter his response to danger. And that response he has is to protect you and to protect the kid. So that's different. That's not okay. The response he has with the kid comes home and it says, "Oh, I got in trouble at school." Some dads say, "We're gonna go back up to the school and you will handle your business." Now, is the fear really of dad or is the kid getting hurt? Kid getting hurt. Okay, but you don't mind dad. I wish he wouldn't do that, but hey, if that's going to toughen him up, then he has to do it. So the common denominator in each one of those stories is the kid getting hurt. And so who's that about? Because if the kid hasn't gotten hurt and it's not about the father, then who's that really about? So I invite those mothers to do some soul searching, to look at how they trust you, and especially if they have trust issues in the relationship, and then being able to let go. You're not of your kid forever, but letting go. You share that kid. You share that kid. Letting go. Anything, I think one of the guys said it, minus abuse, anything less than abuse, working on being able to let that go. Whatever breathing exercises you have to do, so on and so on. And so that's what I hear the most. We have those random moms who don't have a dad at all in the picture. Dad shows up every once in a while to support, or uncle helps, or big brother helps, and they get concerned because they're doing a lot of protecting. Like, I got him. I know how to take him to the sporting games. I'll take care of it. So that resistance is not so much about a man going to hurt the kid as much as I feel like that's only my duty. And with the kids, we actually share them. So that's what I wanted to offer to the panel and those who are listening.
Now, before you go, I wanted to say this because I had a show a while back, Dr. Nakumbi, and I don't think you were here at the time when I did the show. I did an entire show, Mr. Benny, you may remember. I did an entire show of parents I recorded while I was coaching. And
that was 2 weeks before the doc got here.
Yep.
Okay.
And I still have that footage where women came on the sideline with the coaches. And these were some of the words that you heard come out of the mother's mouth. Get your bitch ass up. Stop acting like a hoe. Right? This is what the mother. And now when the mom says it to the boy, he shuts down completely. He don't want to run another play. He ain't hitting hard no more. But when we say it to him, it motivates him. He'll go out there and run through a brick wall for you.
Right.
See the difference, and some of them don't even want their mama there. Let's just be real. Let's start there. Right? They don't even want their mama at the game, period. Because their mama's embarrassing. They got these long ass eyelashes on. It's 106 degrees outside. They got weave all the way down their back, glitter all on their cheeks and shit. They embarrassed. Right? And so that's the difference between sometimes where men take control versus what women do. I think sometimes women can deflate young men and emasculate them at a very young age. Do you agree that women can emasculate their sons at a very young age?
I do. So there's, again, two moms, the one who the father is involved and the one who's not.
Right.
So the one who's not, she's taking on that role of get your, right? She's going to be mom and dad and motivator.
Yeah.
But the sons know the difference between mom motivation and coach motivation.
Right.
And some moms, they don't really say it or speak to it, but the intimidation factor or the I'm not gonna have some coach, you're gonna listen to me. And some parents don't like that, where the kid listens more to a professional than they do to so they actually bring more in their voice and more in their energy than they realize, in the name of, I got this. You can't motivate my kid like I can. And then the kid shrinks, like not literally, but they shrink, and then they don't perform as well. And when they get home, come on, mom, you gotta, well, you're not doing it, but mom, you've never played a day in your life. And then some moms will want to compare that. Well, your dad's never played that sport, but men motivate men in a different way. Mandrell's not here anymore, but any of you who served in the military, right? Just when your commanding officer says whatever, or when your team member says whatever, we motivate each other in a different way. So yes, I think that's a possibility. It does happen that moms do that to sons. And then the mom who's with the dad, and she wants the team. The effort is to be a team. And so when she's doing her thing, maybe it's her day to take him to practice, and she's up there, get to blah, 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 blah. Sometimes she wants to model what she believes a dad should do. She's teaming and modeling, attempting to model what dads would do. But again, because it's not coming from the same source. It's not coming from the same source. They'll be totally like, I'm trying to think of something more feminine to do. When dad says it and he's like, well, if your mom said it, yeah, that's because mom. So some activities, it really does different who the source is that's trying to motivate us.
All right. Now, Dr. Nakumbi, I appreciate that. It's something else I want to show you guys before you get out of here, Dr. Nakumbi, because I know you're on those highways out there. I want to make sure you get pretty quick. So I want to show you one more thing before you go, and I want to get your thoughts on it and the panel as well. Everybody knows who Just Hilarious is, right? She just had a big moment a few weeks ago where she was calling out trans men for, trying to be, right? Well, she did a photo shoot with her son, and it is very inappropriate. And they're covered, so we got to worry about no strikes. But I want to share this with you. I want to pull this up and show y'all this foolery that she did with her son. Let me see. That's the first one. All right, you may have the second one here. And I want to show you what it looks like. I'm gonna pull it up here, and she took a photo shoot with her son like this. Now, as you can see, oh, that's innocent, right? Right. Now, let's look at photo number 2. She's butt ass naked with her 5-year-old son sitting in her lap. What is the Dr. Nakumbe?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's going on in those pictures?
It's funny, and I wonder if that's who. I have a picture of a mom who I thought they were boyfriend and girlfriend. A little older boy. I saw them on Comedy Hype. I'm like, man, they look like a couple. That second picture leads to early sexual activation. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we wonder in our industry, when is the time when you no longer give bubble baths or take baths together, when you no longer shower together? So that kid looked at easily, what, 6, 7, maybe?
I think he's 5 or 6.
5, somewhere in there. Yeah.
He was. Those are old pictures.
Yeah.
Old pictures? Okay. You have to be very careful with those because
10 now, I think.
10? Because they won't say the words, but that's early activation for some sexual fantasies and different things and behaviors, not directly to the mom, but just it starts that up. So, again, that fine line where some parents think they're still young, they're still a kid. I mean, and dads do it too. Hey, come on, let's get a little whoop-de-whoop in. That kid's they're not gonna know but they do know, and I consider those to be inappropriate, and especially when there's no dad involved, and now that starts that mama boyfriend type relationship, or that enmeshment. That's an enmeshment.
And also, just imagine if the roles were reversed, and that was a dude and his daughter.
It would be under the cell.
He done.
Yeah, he'll be in my treatment program for 3 years.
Can you imagine a butt naked man sitting on the floor holding his daughter like that?
She also has a picture of her being in the tub with him.
Let me ask the panelists though, why did nobody come after Just Hilarious?
They did.
I'm talking about really come after.
No, they did. This is before she got to be as famous as she is right now.
She was famous, but not as famous as she is now.
Right. So when that happened, it was the first picture was the picture of her being in the tub with him naked. That shit went viral. It was more Facebook viral than it was YouTube viral. The comedian Corey Holcomb, that's why he went and she got mad at him for going at her for doing what she did. I did a video about that. JT, it was people got upset.
Let me describe it to him, Doc. She's sitting in the tub with subs all over, and everybody know Just fine as hell. Let's be real. We cannot see her so she ain't fine.
Afro or weave. She's an attractive woman.
And so they're very attractive. All right. She's sitting in the tub with subs all over her legs wide open. Her son is facing her. So he's basically looking at the titties in the vajayjay, right? They're in the tub together. Like what? And when they asked her about it, she said, "That's my baby. That's my son." And the first thing Black people always think is negative. It's always a negative thing. That's my baby. I had him. I pushed him out of my body. That's my son.
Yeah, that was her whole premise on it. But then she this is the craziest part. She understood afterwards, and I think it was just for the simple fact that somebody told her that she's about to miss out on opportunities.
Right.
So she tried to, double back and try to explain what it was or whatever. But those ops just nobody's gonna say it. Like you said, if it was a man, and that was what the big premise was. If it was a man with his daughter doing that exact same thing, oh my God, it's over with. It's a wrap.
Right. But now, so in the sex offender program I work in, the women cases, I tell you how they win those cases. Well, with a really good lawyer. But the psychological twist or turn because they gave birth, there's a connection from the time that they're in their stomach. So they get like almost a second chance because it's a warning to say, well, you can't do that. Because psychologically they feel so connected to that child. They are one. I mean, like really in court cases when other psychologists are coming up saying they haven't broke that bond yet. And this goes all the way back to Dr. Freud when he was saying, all those sexual stages. I don't know if you guys know about that, but all those sexual stages, you go through a stage where you suck your thumb, you go through an oral stage, you go through a stage where mama likes their sons like their mamas, boys and girls like their daddies, they like the girls. So if you ever know a dad who's single and the daughter's like, no, I don't like her. I mean, like rah, like aggressive, like it's her man, and then vice versa. But some of those bonds don't break in the time that they should. And the moms don't see that, and that's when they send them more for help to break those bonds, those sexual bonds, than they do before they punish them with the moms. But the dad, they figured no matter what, you deal with the sexual stuff. There's no psych bond.
But you just brought something up. But no, he just brought something. He did bring something up that kind of like it gets me to want to actually look at that a little more. Because there is a bond that a woman has with her child that a father has to build. We have to build our bond with our child, right? With a mother, the bond it's like it never left.
Right.
It never left. And so there is a big difference when it comes down to that. Because I was thinking about that as soon as he said what he said about that, the first thing I thought, because I was getting ready to come with a rebuttal with this whole thing, then what is postpartum then? Right?
Right.
So it's kind of like, wow. Like what you just said, yeah.
I mean, even the smell, the breastfeeding, the smell of the mom, everything from the time the child comes out and bonds with the mom, that bond, and again, on top of the psychology, that bond, and then some people are just very slow to break it. Some don't break it at all, and that's when they start doing these crazy things.
I can honestly say this: always been around my mother and my father for pretty much the same amount of time with both, right?
Oh, I know that.
My bond. You mute yourself. Somebody. Yeah, so my bond with my mom has always been there, right? My bond with my father, I'm like, damn, he did a great job. Because the relationship I had with my mother and my father, they were different, very different, but it was like I couldn't choose between the two. I could never choose between the two. That's how much, when I was 3 years old, my mother and my father separated, and I missed my father. I didn't even want to be around my mama. But when I was with my father, it wasn't the same, but I did miss my mother. It was just it's weird because me and my mother, we can talk for hours, right? We can talk for hours. Me and my father, we have little conversations, but it was kind of like the bond was very strong with me and him. It was, and I think it was, of course, when I got to be 16 and up, and the older I got, the more I talked with my mom, but my bond was so closer to my father. It's a weird thing when you can go that whole thing, because I've broke away from both of them. Once I became a full-fledged man, I broke away from both of them.
Right.
I was gone away from both of my parents for decades.
Right.
But when I come, I look at them the same, but I just have two different relationships that's on the same.
But isn't that though by what do you call it, design, or by having a design that you have?
It is.
You're supposed we're supposed to have these energies. we should have a compassionate side of us, and we should have a disciplined side of us. And, you know, both parents are, you know, sort of given to us to give us those two sides of ourselves.
Yeah,
but we get too much of one energy. You know, like I grew up with my mom, like I said, I started living with my dad when I was like 13, 14. And I can tell you like how I was, my emotions, you know, being picked on in school and whatnot for being, you know, very feminine. I was very sensitive. So with my dad, it was like a 180. I mean, it was like just a total change. So just like, you know, Smiley was talking earlier about how he talks to his son, I got that right off, and I didn't know how to handle it because I was never around then. So it was a major adjustment for me getting used to his energy and the things that he was totally doing. Different. I didn't understand it, and the fact that they weren't together, like I said, they basically split when I was born. So first 13 years, I had all that feminine energy. And I, you know, the fact that I didn't have both at the same time, I'm glad I got. And this is what I'm saying. Like, even as a man, you can still get it. You know, again, especially, I definitely think that there should be sort of a transfer when you do become, and that's what our community, we don't have a rite of passage, but I think there should come a point in time where your son turns again 13, 14, or just before high school. That becomes your responsibility. It's like, Mom, you're done. You did your nurturing, you did your whatever. But now the son comes out, and again, go back to our primal days. Like at a certain age, the sons hunted with the fathers. You know what I mean? There was like a transfer where you came off the breast and you became with the men. The men groomed you. The women stayed with the women, and then you had to, you know, do the domestics or how to be a wife or whatever. So I think that both of those energies are important, but in our culture, just everything is just off. We're not getting enough of one another. So you've got that tough disciplinary man never knowing what it's like to have any compassion or empathy for their children, and again, kids suffer from that. And then you get all these boys that we're talking about, which is the majority of, especially for Black boys, having all this sensitivity because they don't know, they haven't been taught, they haven't been prepared by men to be able to handle adversity. And so I think that's the imbalance that we have, and it's just hurting us.
And that's one of the consequences by not having a father around. And that gap between 6 and 10 is even a little pushing it. Between 6 and 10 is when that natural science and psychology says is when that switch should happen. When it goes into puberty, it changes things. And then on top of, you know, I actually have couples who contemplate divorce because the father is trying to discipline the kid and the mom keeps getting in the way, like protecting him and defending him, and like, don't do, like in the middle of like, we'll go do the opposite of what the dad said. I have couples who want to get a divorce and the moms are clueless. Like, this is my duty and the energy. Like, I would meet with her and her son and give him this questionnaire, and you would think she filled out the questionnaire for her husband based on her responses.
Hey, doctor, do you think that could be in part? Do you think that could in part be to the fact that, generally speaking, we're having fewer children?
I'm not. That's a good question.
When families were having 7, 8, 10, 12 kids, my dad came from 13 and my mom came from 9. If you were the mom, you were busy because you had other kids. The transfer was happening with the father, and then also the older siblings. If you had like a 16, you became then that third parent, because you were groomed by your mother or whatever to then take over and raise those kids while you were still sucking on the others. But in fact, if you only going to have 1 or 2 kids, then all your energy goes into the one kid, and then you don't know how to pull that back. You said, this is my baby, this is whatever. Because we used to have a lot larger families, and your attention had to be on the youngers. You're like, look, you take them 3 older ones, you take them with you hunting, and you take them with you where you're going or farming or whatever. I got these, I'm suckling these guys here. I can't go nowhere. But
and I like the way you said that. And
if everything is poured into them.
Yeah, sibling support, and you were off the breast faster. You know, in some cultures, 2 years old is too old, man. By 1 year, you're done. You're going to the bottle, to the cup, or whatever. Here, you know, I think a 5-year-old could still walk up to it and just, you know, they just. Oh yeah, so, yeah. That.
I'm gonna throw a little 22 here. How you guys feel like? Okay, I'll use my father for example. My father was around, but he wasn't the father figure. He was more the provider. So I had to learn a father figure through a third party, my instructor, a coach, or whatever the case was. So what was your feedback on that?
How many siblings did you have?
It was mostly my instructor, my sensei. It was mostly.
No, how many siblings did you have?
I'm the only child.
Yeah, that's what he was just saying. So he was just saying that energy you had that they had was only on the one child instead of having it on sibling. It's like the difference between being the only child or having an only child and having a large family, like a bunch of kids that are. It is something that's totally different. I had both. Right. I was of both worlds. It was me by myself for 8 years, and then my brother came, and then I had two cousins that are actually, they were raised with us. So I went from being just me to 3 other people, and it's weird. But looking at my father, he was the one that broke me of a lot of things that my mother wasn't capable of breaking me. It was like even that whole thing where I got too common with my mama. The words that my father told me to break me from being that common with my mother was, watch what you say to my wife.
That's right.
He referred to her as his wife and not my mom.
And you knew the difference that day.
It broke me from 13 on as a man.
Absolutely.
Right. Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah. But yeah, it's like getting the oven ready. You cooked your 12, whatever, you got to get those out the pan, whatever, and get ready for the next. So that kind of next stage thing with multiple kids, that transfer is different. I totally agree. And I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that hormonal balance, and again, the science part of it or the psychology part of it goes way back to Sigmund Freud. So this has been around forever. This whole sexual stages. Not everyone believes in it. It's not 100%, but that's been in psychology. So a lot of parents, moms, have that. And then if you don't break away and they go into the adolescent years, the male not only feels like he knows he's your son, but then there is a certain arousal, not sexual, but there's an arousal, because you can have arousal to Ferraris, money, certain things can cause arousal. So the dopamine rush. And then the son starts to develop an arousal for doing things for mom. So not sexual, but then he's more attached for the fix. So, a 7-year-old doing the dishes for you or taking the cup into the kitchen for you, cool, no big deal. But to be able to say, Mom, sit down, like the power in it, the control in it, the sense of purpose of saying, Mom, what are you doing? No, you're not going nowhere. That's what did I say? And it's like, people look back and like, damn, is that your man? Well, he's 17, 16. But that arousal piece, they actually look forward to being able to enforce things with their mom, and it becomes very inappropriate. It takes a very strong relationship. And some people see it as love. Oh, wow, look at that. Look how he takes care of his mom. But you have to be careful, because he'll go into his marriage wanting the nurturing that his mom was giving him or should have given him, but yet at the same time, no longer wanting the responsibility of taking care of mama. So then guess what happens? He works real hard to get this woman. He gets who he finally wanted. But then after that, he has hostility towards her. A natural hostility that's been brewing for decades. He just never knew it. It's been subconscious.
Okay.
So I'll land there. I hope that was helpful.
And I owe all that to you. I'm fucked up in the head, and I owe it all to you, Doc. You let me know how messed up I am in the head every time I talk to you.
Hey, we're all in this together,
please
man.
have a safe trip, brother. Please,
thank you.
On the road.
Yes,
you got 8 more hours to go. So check in with me, brother. Make sure let me know you got it. All right.
All right. CBN, good to see you. Those in the chat, peace. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Appreciate it, Doc.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know who that was. That was. Oh, that shit funny as hell. So anybody else had a perspective on, because I wanted to get illuminated revelation, what are your thoughts on how Ricky is raising his children?
There's nothing wrong with what he's doing right now. He has the receipts to prove what he's doing. And from the comments he was reading, just from the outside looking in, it looks like there's a lot of haterade going on over there, wishing that they were in that position, or they were actually venting or vocalizing their frustration as to what's missing in their life. So
And
coming
the new
up,
lady, just not to cut you off, but he posted a picture up. Here they go, right here.
whoa! You know what? I'm gonna fade to the back, man. I can't mess with you. Lost in translation. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you, sir.
Big guy, I hate you right now.
You're my intellectual partner on this show, along with Black David. You're the individual that has a linguistic and a language that probably could communicate to this individual that's the host. So I'm just going to mute my comments, and I'm going to turn it over to you, sir, because I understand that you have a wisdom that passes all understanding. Okay, sir. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, my brother. Excuse me. I'm talking to my intellectual friend over here.
Oh Jesus!
Black David.
If I'm ever in Dallas, I'm gonna hunt you down and chop your wiener off.
Black David.
I hear you.
Black David. See, this is why there's a barbershop in the suburbs, and then there's a barbershop in the hood. We have now descended to the south side of Chicago, where we hear gunshots, drive-bys, people in there trying to sell CDs, DVDs, drugs, and everything else. We was in such a good place. The doctor has just left, professor in psychology, and he educated us, gave some good points. And then you always had that ghetto Negro that comes in. No, that ghetto nigga that always comes in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna go back to studying.
I hear you, my elder. Trust me, I listen to you, my elder. Because
today, gas is coming out of there.
Hey man, Arpain, I'll
Lost
turn
in
it over.
translation, I think. Lost in translation. Do you recognize
Go ahead,
any
sir.
of these ladies? Do you know any of them? Maybe a little bit.
I don't know none of them.
What are your thoughts, Lost in translation, about the show tonight?
Here's my thing, man. I know Rick, man, and Rick comes from a good place, man. And what people don't realize, when you raised in the South, you built different.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You built different. And for him to even answer those people, I thought was hilarious, because not only does he have the credentials, he was raised by his folks. And you can tell kids who are raised by their grandparents, they have a certain wisdom. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I think that's the secret sauce that we're missing is making sure our kids hang out with their elders. But our community is so mismatched. You know what I'm saying? These kids are not going to be able to see their grandparents because they mad at their baby daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'm not going to let you see my grandkids and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Back when families was tight and you knew who your granddaddy was, you know what I'm saying? You can get a certain wisdom from your grandparents, and your mom and daddy could get a break. You know what I mean? And you can go over there and pick a few things up from your grandma and grandpa.
Absolutely.
But my whole thing is this: Rick is now a grandfather. You know what I'm saying? And in essence, he's an elder. So if that's the case, I think they should probably give him the respect that he's due. And I think a lot of people don't give elders their respect like they should. You know what I'm saying? Trust this man has a whole family that he's raised, and now he has grandkids now. I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing. But I think what happens is we as a people, we like to project our own traumas onto other people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all, but when I came up, we had a kiddie table too. Yep. And then when you graduated from the kiddie table to the big folks table, it was a big deal.
It was.
You know what I mean? You can't give kids something before they handle it. I think T.D. Jake wrote in his book, Emotions, where he talked about how his dad would have messed up if he had gave him his razor too soon when he was watching him in the mirror shaving. He said he looked in the mirror and he saw himself in his son. You know what I mean? And vice versa. When his dad looked back at him, he saw him. But he had known if he had gave him that razor too soon, he'd have cut him. So basically, the rites of passage is the same way. When you graduate and you handled yourself on your level, you know, at the kiddie table, when you've mastered your level, then it's on to the next thing. And I think we as a people need to learn how to make sure that we master the level that we're on right now. You know what I mean? how you conduct yourself at your level will dictate how you're going to conduct yourself on the next level, on the next level. So I say that to say this, and I'm gonna land my plane. Rick is doing what he's supposed to be doing. Exactly. You know what I mean? And my thing is this: I'm surprised that he said something to them, but sometimes people get under your skin, and I understand you have to say some things sometimes, but I think people really need to start giving people, the elders, the respect that they're due. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he's earned the right, and just in my opinion.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to say something before we end?
Go ahead, Art. Real quick. One of the things that would be interesting is I know he mentioned his grandson or how many of those kids were grandchildren. Because I mentioned to people all the time that from his generation, that safety net is going away. That's a safety net because I don't know how many of those kids were illegitimate with no father in the house. I would imagine that. So I don't know the proof of this. Where was the father?
I can tell you. He had a frat brother that passed away.
Okay,
and he took his kids and he raised.
But was it just he had more kids than that?
Yes, just more the frat. I think the frat brother had Lawson Church. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah,
the frat brother had 2 kids.
Yep.
Two sons. He took both of them and raised them. From babies up. The rest of them are his sister's kids, his brother's kids. Like they start going down the wrong path, they send them to Ricky. Ricky rehabilitate
and get them straight.
Well, again, so the point still remains. He's a safety net. There was elders who were always like that. I was raised, but my aunt was my guardian because my mother passed away. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was strict. And I was in a communal house, my grandfather, grandmother, aunts and stuff. My father was still around, but he was working 16 hours a day, right? And just giving money. So I'd see him every so often. But that generation, I mean, you couldn't expect a millennial to do the same thing for the kids that they're putting out there and their grandkids. I don't think so. Not at the same level. So you'll get that from a baby boomer. You'll get that from whatever's left from the silent generation. I have an aunt still alive. She's still taking care of her son in her house, and she's getting ready to pass away, So once that safety net, Gen Xers, if you got to rely on the Gen Xers to do that kind of shit, I don't think so. Not really. So it's going to just get worse before it gets better. Because the safety nets are going on. Even my own family, I'm going to land it here. I got a whole bunch of cousins, girl cousins who had kids out of wedlock. But since we had a communal family, none of those kids went hungry, and they all had opportunities to go to school. They had a place to live. And even the mothers, while they had somebody else built-in babysitters, they got good jobs. They finished their education. It might have took a few years longer. But that's just not the norm. And that's going away. I can't imagine what's going on. We know what's happening with no safety net. The government can't take care of the raising. They'll give you a little bit of money, but the kids are, if you ain't got nobody to watch your kids, hey, forget it. You end up hating them.
And then what they say? Our pain, the idle hands of the devil's workshop. Ain't that what they say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they do. Anyway, I'll land it there if y'all get what I'm saying, but.
Absolutely.
So they're lucky. They're blessed. They had a Ricky Smiley in their family.
Absolutely, bro. We need more like him, to be honest. Grooming Reviews, you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I want to add to part of this. Like what Law said about a lot of people don't respect their elders. That's 100% true. A little backstory. With my grandmother mostly raised me, so I learned the old school way how to do things. So when I talk back, the cane came out. The sandals came out. I got my ass whooped, beyond whooped, to the point my ass was black and blue. I couldn't sit down for a month. Yeah, I know the look I'm getting from you guys right now. But my point is, right, I get to, even overseas people, like I can talk because I'm from overseas, they have more respect for their elders. If they say, go do X, Y, and Z, says, I'm watching I'm playing my game or I'm watching TV. No, you do it. You don't ask questions. You don't say, when I'm done, no, you're going to do it now. If they tell you, okay, be home by 7:01, you're not home, your ass is getting beat. They're very strict with that stuff overseas. Over here,
not over here, bro.
No, it's lenient. It's completely fucking lenient here. I'm like, I'm surprised. I hear it all the time. People are talking to their grandmother like they're like garbage. They're like, how dare you? Some goddamn respect.
Well, there was a period of time of when that happened. I know a lot of, if you go in some of these spaces, a lot of that has been blamed on the boomers. The boomers are at fault. The boomers are at fault. Well, when we tried to implement how we were raised, hard work, because we came out from, I say this all the time, we came out from the Industrial Revolution to technology. We did things with our hands. We thought. We didn't have the internet. We had Encyclopedia Britannica. We had dictionaries. We had to actually physically go to the library, microfiche, and things of that nature. And then you did had elders where you sat at their feet to learn and to understand. You had Big Mama, you had Auntie, you had Grandma, you had what we say, the old African proverb, it took a village to raise a child. We had that. It was a community. But when, quote unquote, when the government came in, they destroyed that. The government wanted to replace the Father. The government wanted to replace God. Once they did that, you kick the Father out. You destroy the reproduction and being fruitful and multiply, but you destroy the nucleus of the family. Once you do that, okay, you have total chaos. And this is what we have. You have lawlessness and you have rebellion. So now what you have is I heard she's no longer on MSNBC, but I even heard Joe Biden say it. And they said, they are not your children. They're all of our children. So guess what? We'll pass the laws. We'll make the rules. We'll implement the statutes and the regulations, and we will govern how you raise your child. Look what they're passing in California. Michigan just passed a law about hate speech. Canada has it up there. They're taking a playbook straight out the communist China playbook. You know, they're implementing that slowly, the slowly erosion of our Constitution. So when we look at discipline, you know, when we say train up a child in the way he should go, when he or she gets old, they will not depart from it. So when you discipline, I believe one of the brothers put in the chat a couple of shows ago, I believe it was Deuteronomy 18:21 or 20, Deuteronomy 21:18 through whatever it was. I know it was in Deuteronomy, where it talks about when they had the rebellious son who would not listen, they took him before the congregation. And if he didn't want to mind, they stoned him. That was under the law. So
my other, also don't forget Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, when we get away from biblical principles and biblical things into which we try to instruct, you'll see the results. When you kick God out, God is a gentleman. Okay, you kick God out of your family, you kick God out of school, you kick God out of all the facets of society, and you bring this this false doctrine, these false gods from the Old Testament, you're going to get Old Testament results. And you always read, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against them. So I'll land my plane here. So when it comes time to America to be judged, we get everything that we deserve because we took God away, invited his enemies in. So we get what we get. Now you start to see and you hear across the country, 2024, we can't wait. We can't wait. Why? Because everything is being exposed. Jesus said, I am the light of the world, and everything that's done in the dark will be shouted from the rooftops. So get ready to see and hear some things that you're not prepared for. Even I'm trying to prepare myself for it. And then all you guys that have your heroes that you like so much, be prepared for them to be exposed because they was involved in it too.
Well, I'll be damned. Thank y'all for coming in. I mean, Angry Snowman Illuminated. Once I end the show,
And I'm here also.
That thing that we talked about the other night. We're gonna talk about that back in the back. All right, on. So everybody can stay.
Hey, I just wanted to add one more little caveat.
Yeah. Go ahead, Angry Snowman.
I know I jumped in at the tail end, but you guys were talking about, parenting and stuff. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I came from the generation where time travel was a real thing. I can't count how many times I got knocked in the next Tuesday.
Goddamn right.
As a child growing
Hold
up.
on, time out. Ain't nobody get their ass whooped more than an African. I'm gonna say that right now.
Dude, you don't know.
You crazy.
You don't know what it's
I thought
like.
I thought my mom and dad was a WWE tag team for 15 years.
Let me explain to you.
I thought my mom was the only 5'1" tall Irish ninja on the planet. For real, because she would hide behind shit and she would jump on your back and pick up whatever she could and beat the living snot out of you.
Have you ever get slapped so hard that when you in the air, you thought you in the air for more than a minute?
Dude, I just told you I come from a generation where I did time travel.
Black David,
I experienced real time travel, sir.
When your mama
Black David, let me give you the instruments of torment. You had the belt, you had the coat hanger, you had the stenching cord, you had the switch. You had the paddle.
You had the garden hose.
I had that.
Yeah.
And I had the hot whip. I had a police.
You didn't have but Black David.
No.
You didn't have a Hot Wheel track.
Did you have the cane?
Hot Wheel track was the
Hot Wheel
track.
The worst, though, man.
Hold up, listen. Let me paint a picture for you guys.
No, let me paint a picture for you, Black David. Hold on. Do you know what it's like to go to be talking to your mom on one Tuesday and you miss a whole week and a half of your life? It just disappears. And you wake up a Wednesday later.
That was me.
Yeah, that was me growing up.
I had the attention cord. I had the attention cord and I was told to take off all my clothes except for my underwear.
Have you ever had your mom tell you to go outside and sweep all the dirt out of the yard?
No, it is. My mom and papa beating me with a tension cord. They would pour water on my back and hit me with it.
Damn.
You want to test that theory right now?
Now that was slave.
Have you ever have
slave right there?
Have you ever been beaten
slave right there
with a whole?
They were trying to. You did not want to take on the name Toby, did you? You did not want to take that name, did you?
You got jokes now, right?
Black David, what is your name? What is your name, Black David?
We really went there. Did we really just go there?
You got jokes now. I'm telling you, what I went through 2x4, I got it. My dad uppercut slap that left me in the air for more than a minute. I thought I was in the Matrix. I was like, why am I in the air for so long?
Black David. Your
Before I
mom
dropped.
ever made you kneel and grits?
You have no idea how dangerous it is.
My uncle would put grits on the floor. I say, oh, hell no.
And my dad used to put a broomstick down on the floor and make you stand in the corner.
They said I need to go to boot camp and send me to the motherland, where by the motherland, they beat you for every small thing. You ever get almost 34 latches in one day?
Do you know how long, Black David, do you know how long it takes to sweep all of the dirt out of the yard?
Dude, we did African first aid.
It never ends. You can't do it.
No. You ever heard of
trying to play my beating was better than your beating?
You ever heard of tree branching when they whoop your back so bad your back bleed and you get to use African first aid, you get peppermint toothpaste, and you got to put in your back to cover the scar?
Yeah, David.
But here's the thing. But did you die?
No,
exactly.
I tried everything in my power not to piss my mom or my dad off.
Hey, JT, Black David was like, where's that doggone slave ship at? I'm getting the hell up out of here.
Let me head to America. Which way is it?
Oh, fuck that. He probably started swimming for that.
Oh,
man, but I
Oh,
want to say
my
this real
God.
quick, man. I
I
want
was
to say this
beating
real
more
quick.
than animal even take. I was like, am I not a human being? Like, what the hell going on here?
Hey, JT, even the animals in Africa was like, dang, man, that's a shame. That's a doggone
The
shame.
hippo came out the water and said, "Look at this motherfucker."
Dude, our pet dog didn't get as much abuse as I did as a kid growing up.
Dog was like, I'm glad I'm a dog.
For real. He at least got fed on a regular schedule, man.
Dude, I mean, I did one. You know the old school police baton you used back in England? The old school wooden police baton? My uncle used that on me, almost broke my forearm with that thing.
Well,
I
you
was
stop
like,
being bad then, Black David. Damn, you was a horrible kid.
Black man.
I'm gonna tell you what, the stuff my mom did to me as a kid would be considered child abuse.
One of these
today.
days, I was at the time machine. I'll replace with you, and you take my ass whooping until you go talk after that.
Hey, JT, you remember this? When you used to get your behind whoop and you would call, they said, "Excuse me, I will pack your bags." And if CPS today would show up 30 years
They
ago,
can take your ass.
boy,
and I'm gonna whoop your ass again. You call the cops on me if you want to.
I did that.
Dude, I used
back
to
in the
beg the
day,
cops
hey,
to
back
take
in
me
the
to
day, the
JDC.
back in the day, the popo said, you going on a lost in translation, mother? Oh no, we're not going over there. No,
Nah, dude, the cops would pick me up and I would beg them to take me to JDC.
So I tell you what, you got
right.
We had
Right.
my generation, that was the brothers before me. They were so scared of their parents, like, yo, man, take me to jail.
Right, for real.
Take me to jail.
The cops love sitting outside the house and watching my mom beat me when they brought me home. They'd sit there and laugh.
That was me.
I had a
up with my
dude
mom.
named. I had a guy,
And I paid
a
the
friend
price
of
for
mine.
that.
It was a friend of mine's named Zany. I still remember this guy. Zany got hit by a car. That car hit him at least a block and a half away. He slid a block and a half away. Zany got up. The guy that hit him, because it was Zany's fault. We was all playing, walking, coming from school. And Zany, he playing with somebody. He runs out in the street, my man. And this was, now understand, this was like in 1978. So it was a Lincoln, the big
town car,
rectangle Lincoln, town car.
Oh, metal bumper.
It hit him. My man was so scared that he hit him because he hit him so far. Zany got up. My man was like, "Oh my God." He said, "Come on." He said, "Listen, I'm gonna take you to the hospital." Zany said, "No, don't worry about it." The guy told him, "Nope, you got to sit here." He had him sit down. We didn't know that Zany had a broken leg because Zany got up and just started walking back home. He was trying to walk home. The ambulance came. He said, "I can't go." He was fighting the ambulance because he did not want his mama to find out that he got himself hit by a car. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, that would have got you an ass
Don't
whooping.
tell my mama. Don't tell my mama.
What were you doing to get hit by a car, stupid?
Exactly. Right, with your dumb ass. And he was,
me when I
this
broke
the
my
crazy
arm.
part, he was in the wrong.
Hey, but you know
It
what
was
though,
me.
man? I think like the older generation, they really didn't care about your health a lot. They just knew that if you got a bump and a bruise, you get up and live another day. Because I remember my dad used to take kids home from football practice or band practice, and one little girl just jumped out the back of my dad. He was ready to stop at her house, the front door of her house. She just jumped out the back of the truck while the truck was moving. And I said, I remember it like it was just. I said, "Oh my God, this girl dead." And I remember my dad saying, "God damn it, get up. Let's take her to her grandma." So we took her in the house. We picked her up, took her in the house. And her grandmother didn't say call the police, the ambulance, and nothing. She said, lay her lazy ass on the couch. And that was it. Like, it was nothing. Like, ma'am, she just jumped off of a moving truck.
No,
But
man, as long as your parents had Vicks, Robitussin, and Band-Aids, you were all right.
Man,
There you go.
Go get that ginger ale.
You forgot about duct tape too.
The ginger ale.
The
In
ginger ale.
Michigan, it's Vernus. It was.
Watch
real
yourself,
innocent.
boy.
My
Watch
childhood,
yourself.
when it came to medicine, that goddamn Blue Star ointment, that goddamn
Vaseline.
Oh my God.
Vaseline.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. Goodyear white liniment. That was before Bengay, before Icy Hot, and all the rest of that stuff.
And
we had Goodyear white liniment. Yeah.
You have Tussie illuminated.
Huh?
Well, you had Tussie, the deodorant, where you had to put it on under your arm with your finger.
Yeah.
You write your name under your arm. Aura.
Well, they put some tussin on it now, boy.
Yeah, man. Listen here, man.
Hey, bro,
back in the
listen.
day.
But you know
I
what?
did a
I
backflip
would love to
off
have
of
some
a
of those
house.
remedies now. We'd be a lot better off than what they're giving us now.
Yes, sir. It's making us, whatever they're giving us, it's making us more sicker. I did a backwards flip off of a house onto 5 mattresses. That was the cool part.
He said that was the cool part.
I didn't realize that the mattress was gonna pop me off of it and put me right back where I was supposed to be, on the ground. Knock the air out of myself. I
Did
tried
you
to
think
get
you were
up
Booker T?
and act like everything. I didn't break. I have never broken a bone. I fractured my ankle playing basketball. That was about as far as it
You're a
went.
lucky bastard.
I've never spent more than probably about 2 hours into a hospital ever.
I
And
broke my
one of the
left
things
arm. I didn't want to go home.
because, listen, this is the thing. My father never spent any time into a hospital, and he had a motorcycle accident, and that was about the longest he ever spent in a hospital. So when my father died in the hospital, it was funny because he used to always say, I don't need to go to a hospital because I never get out of them. And when it came, that was like when we had to deal with the death of my father, we had to laugh about it because he always said, I'm not going to the damn hospital because I would never get out of the hospital. That was his whole thing. But he was never, I've never seen my father like sick other than with a cold and the motorcycle accident, right? Never. Out of all the years that he's been in. So it always got me to a point where when I used to think my father was actually the strongest man in the world. I've never had that any inkling from there. I've seen my father kick somebody in a chair, kick somebody in their chin. I've saw him do it. I've never seen my father lose a fight. I've never seen my father in a whole bunch of fights. But the fights I've ever seen my father in, he has never even came close to even being in a brawl. They lasted probably about 5 seconds because he was just, and my father was a small guy. And he never had to deal with fighting someone like that. You know, they'd grab him for a minute, and next thing you know, they on the ground. And I'm like, I used to be like, damn, what was it? It was the fear of getting his ass whooped in front of his son. That's all it was. That was
you know what? That's a motivation, though. Ain't nobody want to get whooped in front of their wife, their kids, none of that.
Yeah, none of that. It was just the motivation. Now I've never seen him, when I got older and stuff like that. This was when I was a kid. But my father also never let me see if he was really into it with somebody. I've seen him argue with someone before, but he always, if he can help it, remove me out of that spot. And then he'd go and handle his business. My father just was never that type of a guy. He never, even when it came down to him and my mom, I've never really seen them have just outright arguments, right? And one of the things was because my father always held bearings when it came down to being around his children and his wife. He speaks loud, like me. I speak loud. You guys seen some of the passion that I had. That's the spirit of my father, my grandfather. But you never see me get into a point where I'm challenging another man by threatening him. And one of the things that came from that was the teachings of my father. My father has never tried to start a fight or anything like that. He's never been at a point where, even when it came down to him saying if somebody invite him, to whoop their ass, he would never try to do that in front of me. Now, it was just times that I saw that he had no choice but to go ahead and neutralize the situation. But he taught me how to be a man of integrity, right? Or a man that held his own, but at some point you have to have some type of decorum when it comes down to being in front of your children and your wife. My father was crass when he spoke, very crass. I say that to say this: as men, we are what we are, man. We're not a product of our environment. because we have to survive that, being that product of our environment. We actually learn from our environment, and we learn from a lot of the tough things that we have to go through, the tough situations that we get put in. And so we have to learn how to deal with those as being a man. What we see with this younger generation is a bunch of men or males.
I was going to say, I don't see men
that are emulating their moms and aunties and grandmothers, not their grandfathers. And so now it's getting to a point that things that used to be true, they're not going to be true anymore. Such as, I got a man in the house. No, you got a male in the house. I used to be one of those dudes that'd be like, nah, my man is a man. No. We have to be able to delineate what it is, for the simple fact that, man, we have principles that we have to go by. We have principles, and we have to have discipline. Who else is going to implement discipline if the man is not going to implement true discipline, self-discipline?
And you know what?
What's the world coming to in JT's The Voice of Reason?
Nothing. Shit. Trash. Let me say this real quick, guys, before we get out of here, man. I want to say for the last week, you guys have truly been supporting the content, supporting the people on the panel. We thank you. I want to just thank you sincerely from my heart that you guys, you rock with me. You guys were in here about tons on Tuesdays for the last couple of Tuesdays. We've gotten thousands of views over the last 2 weeks. That means people are watching. The likes are astronomical, 130, 150, almost, the people are watching, they're liking what they're seeing, and it's all because of you guys. You guys in the audience, you guys on the panel, Lost in Translation, JT, Our Pain, Illuminated Revelation, Grooming Reviews. You guys are family, man. Angry Snowman, Black David, man. Can't do it without him, man. Black David is, man, that's my guy, bro. And I thank everybody so much for coming through. And soon I'm about to end the show. However, I want you guys to stay back because I got a great idea. Angry Snowman brought up the other night. I want to discuss with him. I think Our Pain will be a great addition to that as well. So thank you guys again tonight. Everybody go salute. Yeah. And listen, tell your mama them about us. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the name of the show is Believe All Women? ? Ooh. And so
that's
we're going to
be a rough one.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one.
And you're going to need it.
I'll make sure I send all you guys the link because that's going to be a really, really, really good one. All right. But shout out to you all. Thank you all for being here tonight. Black Men Unfiltered loves you, and so does God. All right. And Illuminated Revelation, if you're looking for anyone to get, you're looking for dancers or
would you end the doggone show? Stop it. You always end it on a negative note. End the doggone show. Play the music. Cue the music. Cue the dadgum music. Doggone it.